What's
well.
going on?
What's going
What's
on with
going on,
you?
man? Oh, nothing. Just sitting here in my creaking chair, moving around.
I'll tell you
Uh,
what cures that, man. I put a shoot ton of WD-40 on my chair, and it
yeah.
actually helped a lot. But this is a very old wooden computer desk chair from probably the 80s.
Nice. Is that the one that the devil sat down in while Johnny fiddled? You sat down in that chair right there.
And let me show you how it's done. Yeah, if I could show somebody how it's done in this chair, I might need a new hip.
Wish I get somebody to pay me to show them how it's done. Give me a gold fiddle.
These days, I
So
had to
let's
pay somebody.
right. So here we are. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to 3 Star Draw. This is episode 2 of 7's Wild with me and Pop Blender, your wonderful hosts for this fantastic voyage. Ride, slippity slide. So say what's up. What is going on, Pop Blender? How's it going over there?
It's good, man. Had the day off today, got some errands run, bounced out and about around town on a beautiful freaking day after the rain last night. Almost went golfing, and kind of ran out of time. My air conditioning, if you and I have something really in common recently, is that my
Yeah.
AC in my car has all of a sudden just decided it doesn't want to work anymore. It blows. It's just blowing warm.
Yeah.
And so I
Same.
went to go check about that, checked on a fuse, and ended up running out of time and wanted to get back here and kind of get ready and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, how about
Golf
you?
takes a while. Oh, I just went to work in the rain and drove the direction that the rain was moving. So I drove through rain all morning, did first part of my work in the rain, and then it warmed up and got hot. Not as hot as it was yesterday, but hot enough for me because I'm fat.
It's
So
humid.
yeah, wasn't too bad. But then I went to the office to pick up supplies and sat up there and wasted about an hour and said I'm going home because I need to go home and get ready for the live stream, which was kind of a lie. I already had most of that done. I just didn't want to go to work anymore. I didn't have anything else close to where I was at. Like it was everything that I had to go do that was my stuff was like 2 hours from our office.
Okay.
And like, so drive 2 hours and then that stuff is another hour back my way. I was going to go to the city where your sister lives and from
Okay.
Goodlettsville. So that's
Oh,
about a 3 hour tour without the work that I was going to do there.
right.
So yeah, just save that for tomorrow. It'll be there. It ain't
I,
going
I'm
nowhere.
I'm a big fan of save that till tomorrow. Actually,
Yeah,
a really big fan,
that
unfortunately.
it can all wait. So let's go ahead and say what's up to the chat. Chat was
Yep.
blowing up before we ever got in here. So we got Crimson Cobra Commander was first today. And then we
Yeah,
got
man.
Gasland, Crusty Old Crow. Let's see who all else is in here. There is the toy enhancer himself.
There he is.
And let's see if there's anybody else. Might just be you guys. That's all right.
Let's see.
That's
So
Wraith
far,
Mace
right,
showed up.
right.
There's Wraith
Yep,
Mace,
right.
Woody the action figure addict. Oh, Woody, everybody's favorite Blurman.
That's
I don't know
right.
if you saw that video or not. Son of a Crayon Slayer. Um, Woody is Woody stated in his video that Woody is half black and Woody is half German, so folks at his work call him a Blurman, and it kind of stuck. So from now on, Woody is everybody's favorite Blurman.
I am a huge fan of that. I love that
Yeah, that's
actually.
awesome. Yeah, that's should have went with Woody Triple Deuce, everybody's favorite Blurman.
Triple
Don't say anything about toys though, but hey, look who's talking.
two. Right? Yeah, that's true. Mine or
Um,
yours for that matter.
right. So just what's up everybody? Thanks for coming in and anybody that might be tuning in for the replay. Appreciate you guys coming in and checking this out. I'll say it up front and I won't say it again until the end. If you guys enjoy this, hit that like button and that subscribe and comments. I'm pretty sure I think all you guys probably are, but anybody that might be tuning in later, just go ahead and do that. I would certainly appreciate it because I always forget to do that. There's been a couple videos I haven't even done it at all in. So
That's all right, man.
yeah,
I mean, it's part of it, figuring it out, getting it all down, man. It is what it is.
yeah, it's all it's a process. It's a
Yes.
process. It's my best ability.
I do like this comment though. Sitting in a vamp on the Millennium Falcon traveling at the speed of light. I love the thumbnail that you did. We had talked about it after last week, and it was like, hey, let's come up with something kind of funny, if you look this up, or hey, I'll look this up, whatever. And you came up with that one, and I thought that was fantastic. That's absolutely hilarious. And we got a couple more probably to come, down the line as we go further along, just for fun. But that one was great, man.
Well, I discovered that I did not know this, and other people probably will say I'm an idiot. I recently discovered that my phone has the ability to make stickers out of pictures. I didn't know my phone could do that. I don't use stickers, but I long pressed it on something else, and it was like, make a sticker out of this, and it highlighted something. I'm like,
yeah,
what? And I was like, let me try that again, and it did it. And I was like, let me go to a good picture. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with this. Yeah, so Aaron, no, we were actually sitting still in the vamp. We was just fucked up.
All throughout the years, man, I don't know that we have too many pictures of you and I actually drinking or fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't actually think we do. All our pictures come from Christmas, birthdays, family get-together, stuff like that. Doesn't mean we have not been out and been around. And but when I had my karaoke company, you used to come out and hang out and sing karaoke and stuff with me and stuff like that. And, yeah, man. But I don't think we have. I don't know if we have any.
There may be some from one of my birthdays we had at the bar club we used to go to, that there may be some from up there, but if there are, they're few and far between. I haven't run across any yet, if there were.
Yeah, and obviously nowadays, compared to what I've been going and doing, and I talked a little bit about it last week, is going through all these pictures, is that you go through all the, and I think most of us fall in the age range where you have actual print photography. And so going through pictures, and going through all the ones that my mom has, these albums and stuff, it's just fun getting your hands on them, flipping through them. But nowadays they're all on your phone. You never look at them, right? You never, ever, ever look at them. And so you kind of lose that a bit. And so, occasionally I might be going through there and looking for something to show somebody at my work, and I'll have to search through 1,300 pictures, for over 2 years to find something. And so it's completely different. But as far as finding any of them pictures of us, yeah, man, most of them are all just Christmas and, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and there's and our family Christmases are usually pretty dry. Like, we don't nobody else really is into any of that. So there was that one that I think maybe the one that I was right after I turned 21, and we drank some Crown. We snuck down in the basement and did a couple shots of Crown real quick, but there were no pictures down there.
No, and I think one time I brought a bottle of red wine for Thanksgiving, and I brought it over because I knew a couple of our other relatives were going to be there. And the Astro, those are my favorites.
Those are the best.
and not only are they my favorites, but the ones you have on your phone are my favorites too. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. That's
I'm
messed
not in
up.
any of them, am I,
That's
JF?
messed up.
How'd you
Well,
get them damn pictures?
like I said last week, I have my one only fan. It's not even my only
Yeah,
fans. It's just the one.
yeah. It's just only fan.
But yeah, man, yeah, most of our Thanksgivings and Christmases, holidays have been dry. My family, my mom and stuff, she ain't all about having anybody drinking. And it's funny because I talk to other people and they're like, yeah, man, every Christmas and Thanksgiving, boy, we get together and we all drink and I'm thinking, I bet that's a lot of fun. But I also bet that sometimes that can turn into an absolute disaster.
Yeah, that's how that stuff you always hear about in the radio shows doing news stories of stuff that happened after every holiday. It's because it's a family that gets together and they all get hammered and everybody starts pointing
Yeah.
fingers and
Yeah.
we don't have none of that. We have a good time, but it's usually without the sauce at
Yes,
those.
it is. We've learned to adapt, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
we'll get through it.
so Wraith is headed down to South Carolina next Friday to sell off his classifieds.
Mythic Legion.
Yeah, that's it. I'd come to
Yeah.
me in a minute, man. I knew it would.
Well, we see. Yeah, first thing we think's Marvel Legends, so Mythic Legion.
Yes, that's actually the first thing that come to my mind was that 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
That's always fun. Hell, I'd rather take an 8-hour drive and end up in Florida somewhere, but South Carolina can be fun.
So they got beach.
Mm-hmm.
They got
I
beaches.
I got an ex-girlfriend that lives in South Carolina. That's the reason why I don't want to go there.
I got a cousin on the other side of the family that lives in. She lives close to Charleston, and we do like a video call on that side of the family at Christmas and pass the phone around to whoever's out of town so they can talk to everybody. I was like, "What are you doing, cuz?" Like, she started talking. I was like, "You got an extra bedroom?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "I got to come stay with you. There's a toy store up there I want to go to."
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what somebody wants to hear.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
was like, yeah, just let me know."
That's a totally different phone call than you normally would receive, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I thought it. I
yeah,
thought it'd go over better to surprise her.
yeah. 30 years later, 35 years later, there's a toy store I want to go to.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's something you
right.
might have expected to hear years ago, you know.
Yep.
Um, well, that's a great song, by the way, Aaron.
Yes, it is.
Great song, a classic. And
George Strait.
yeah, baby. All right. Well, enough of the chit chat. Although I never mind chit chatting, it's what I do for a living. If y'all don't know, I
Yeah.
bartend for a living. I think I mentioned it last week, but I bartend for a living and I have to talk a whole bunch all the time. And so it's one of the things I do best. About many different subjects, although most of y'all in the chat definitely know much, much more about this hobby than I do. But that doesn't mean we don't all enjoy it for sure. And speaking of people that enjoy the hobby, last week you got a chance to go on with Punk on a Thursday night with a friend, which was pretty cool to watch. I had to work that night, so I had to I chatted during the thing, and then afterwards I backed it up and watched it. But I was able to finish it off after I got off because y'all was still on. So what was that like, man? Was that fun? Was that fun to do, to get interviewed or talk to somebody that you like in the community like that?
Yeah, it was a good time. Like I said, I mentioned I was a little bit nervous going on his show. I told you, and I'd talked to Aaron and Crow about it, and there were a couple other people that come in and was like, "Oh, it'll be all right, whatever." Because that one it's not like being on being on the Punk's Pit or even doing a show like this, because that one is more like it's about you. It's this is your life kind of thing. So I was a little bit nervous going on with Punk. What's up, Turkish Murphy and Matthew
Yeah,
Matson
Matthew.
just showed up. Um, but yeah, it was a good time. A lot of the stuff that I was kind of like stressing over, and it's been a while trying to figure out how I was going to talk about it. Some of the stuff didn't even come up. So I spent a
Okay.
good deal of time like stressing over nothing. Like, like how do you talk about some stuff with that, you know, I don't know, it doesn't really bother you, but it's kind of touchy. And
Yeah.
how do you vocalize that? And that was mostly stuff that like early life kind of stuff, like, parents divorcing and things like that.
Sure.
We didn't really talk a whole lot about that. He knew, that my parents were divorced and whatnot. So I was just stressing over how to like talk about that. And we didn't even really talk about it. It's really not that big of a huge part of my story, other than, like it was just kind of me, brother was older and
Yeah.
wasn't ever around kind of thing. So it was like me left to my own devices. And so I had a good time on there. I don't know. I don't think he's ever had anybody on twice, but if he ever runs through people and asks, I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. He, Allison, uh, Toy Princess had kind of mentioned that he knows what he's doing and he kind of leads the way. Like he's
Mhm.
used to doing this. He's been doing this for a long time. Let him ask the questions and kind of guide it. And it all kind of fell into place. So
Yeah.
um, I think it went okay. I did enjoy being on it. I didn't talk to him for a real long time before we went on. We talked for about 15 minutes or so. And it wasn't until like the last minute, of course, I'd sent him the pictures of what happened with my bite and all that. And we
Oh yeah.
talked about that. And it wasn't until like the last minute or minute and a half that he asks you if there's anything you don't want to talk about, which I knew he did. And there was really only one thing, and he was just like, how would we even get to that? I was like, you know how chat goes, man. People get to talking and asking questions. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's really the only thing I don't want to touch on. And he was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to go there unless you lead it there. And I said, I lead it there. So that was it. And no, I'm not going to say what that one thing
Yeah.
is.
No. 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 No.
So it
And
wouldn't do any good to do it now, would it?
no reason to. And the reason I asked is because I watched it and I thought it was fun. I thought anybody that would go on there to do that, I think it's probably an enjoyable time. And I think also too, it's kind of fun to have somebody ask you questions about yourself or your life or whatever. And that's not something that we all get an opportunity to do, right? And
Yeah.
so sometimes kind of flip that around and have somebody kind of ask you questions and be interested in just like I said, your life, how you got into maybe collecting or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a great thing to do, and I think for him,
Yes.
it's a great way to have people come in and get to know the people that are in the chat all the time. And also, I think too is that when people are in the chat, that happened to me too because I did marching band 4 years in a row in drumline too. You can imagine. But but I do think that was fun, and also like you said earlier about working stuff up in your head. I think we all do that, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
a confrontation, whether it's a job thing, you have all these things going through your head, and you make up all these things in your head about what you're going to say and what they're going to ask, and then ultimately at the end of the day, none of it ever happens, right? And
Yeah.
and
That's
and then you
how a
just
lot of it was.
that's exactly right. So, yeah, but it was fun. I just wanted to ask you about it. I didn't want to go deep dive or nothing and whatever,
Yeah.
but I thought it was fun, man. And by the way, yes, Jay Astro, it was the hemorrhoids.
It was.
Them
I had
some
to get
bitches
special
hurt.
drawers. But yeah, I had a good time doing it, and I appreciate him, him having me on. I'd never thought, when I started getting into this and started really watching his show, I didn't ever imagine myself being asked to be on it. And it's a really good thing that he does, talking to people and, letting the community get to know him, because he's one of the biggest fosterers of this community. And there's a core group, most of them are here tonight that are in that. So I think it's a really good thing that he does with that.
Yeah, it's super cool. So but I just want to bring it up for a second. Thought it was awesome, and so I'm glad you did it, man. Glad you did it, and I'm sure probably plenty of the other people that are in this chat right now will probably at some point in time do that very same thing, and ones that already have or whatever. I mean, that's without a doubt. So so yeah, man. Yeah, that's enough about tickling punks balls. Let's start. Let's kind of move along if you want to, man, and that way we can get some people's thoughts in the chat as along with some of our topics.
All right.
Why don't you give the rundown, man? This is on your channel, so why don't you lay it out for us, buddy?
All right, we're gonna do just a little bit about some recent Joe news. There hasn't been a whole lot, but we're gonna touch on a few things first, and kind of go over that and talk about some other stuff that's going on with the line and things we might see. And let's see what else I have written down over here. We do have one topic that might probably wind up being the episode of the next, or the topic of the next show. That maybe get bumped, but yes, we are going to talk about some Haslabs. We're going to talk about what we think may be coming up, just us personally, and then we're going to talk to you guys and see what you think it's going to be and what you want to see. So say what's up to Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro joining us from down under. What's going on? I'm glad to see you here, buddy. One of these days I'm gonna be awake when you do your show and at least be in the chat for it. I always catch his show on the replay.
Okay, answer that one. I'll answer that one. Not yet, Woody. My channel is probably going to be more pop culture. And to be quite honest with you, there really is no reason why I haven't done it. Matthew Matson follows a lot of the same folks that I do when it comes to the pop culture realm. Some of those names might be Critical Drinker, Az from Hills versus Babyface, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, and some of those things. I play a lot of video games. I'm heavy into pop culture, movies and television, cartoon, anime, not as much, but so my channel will be more towards that. Actually, Matthew, I'm going to tell you right now, I would.
That will be a killer show.
100%. If that's something that you're serious about doing, Matthew, then you need to talk to me, because I'm not kidding. And so I've been following all those channels for a long time. I'm big fans of them, and I just really want to dip my toes into it. However, with this, and I've talked to Down South about it, I love G.I. Joe. I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. I think last time we did our stream, we talked about it. It's a big part of my life, and I love the classified line. I am not a huge toy collector of other lines, but I love this line. I love talking about G.I. Joe. I love the community. I love everybody that I've met, I've talked to, that I've seen in chat and everything. Everybody's been really fantastic. But my channel will be a pop culture channel, and I know for some people, those are waters that they don't want to wade into. And sometimes that involves some topics that may or may not be sensitive to some people. So I understand that. I don't want to bring that into this. However, at the same token, that's kind of what my channel will be. And so hopefully here really soon, I will launch it, and I'll be glad to let everybody know. And everyone is more than welcome to check it out. So hopefully soon. But yeah, Matthew, you tell me, buddy. You tell me. If that's something you'd be interested in, and I would be interested in doing it with you. So,
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that. Wraith Mace says
Oh
Warhammer
yeah.
40K on pop.
Hey, listen, I love some Henry Cavill too. So if you don't think I'm not going to be watching that Warhammer 40K show that he's making right now, then you got another thing coming because I'm interested in that. So I
That
don't know a
is
lot about it.
correct.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. So you want to get into the Haslab, or did you want to touch on the Tiger Paw
yeah, let's
and the
yeah.
wreckage debacle?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. So I'm
Yeah,
going to show we're going to say when we're going to say it in this voice. So what's going on? And if anybody knows what that is from,
please.
exactly what that is from, I will give you a no prize. And if anybody
know.
knows exactly where that yeah, you don't count. Anybody knows exactly where that said just that way, so what's going on, recognizes that and can tell me where that's from, you're gonna get a no prize. So let's see. I'm going to I bought an extra I bought a new monitor so I can possibly do some share screens.
Yeah, man.
So
Come
I
on.
can
Why don't you
pick some
tell
stuff up.
everybody? Just tell everybody. Started doing live streams, and you need another monitor. It's crucial. Anybody out there that's going to do
Yeah.
live streams, that's going to have guests, that's going to share stuff, you need an extra monitor. It is crucial to do.
Yeah,
Right?
you really do. You really do. So we're going to go to this one here as soon as I can get it loaded up. Everybody probably recognizes that. Let's see if it'll load here. So we're gonna talk about this dude right here just a minute. So did anybody actually get this guy? Was anybody able to order him? I did not. I was like other people and got the notification after it was sold out on Pulse and went to it, couldn't get it. And I was checking Target and I did get on Target before he sold out. And I could have got him there, but I didn't order it. I'm kind of cutting back on extra stuff. And I'm not a huge Tiger Force fan, as we know. I do think Wreckage looks cool, but I will tell you the main reason that I passed. Of course you did, Woody. The main reason I passed is because he's Firefly, and that Firefly is, for a lot of people, had a lot of trouble with that figure. And he's not a character that I just absolutely have to have. I do think the Tiger Paw looks cool. But I passed on him mostly because he is Firefly all over again. And right there has a potential for him to be really loose and floppy. And I don't want to take a chance on a figure that I already know has that issue. So it's not, I don't think he looks cool, but it's a repaint. And I just yeah, it's just not really my thing. So
I'm with you. Now my reasons are a little different. Number one for me is that I am not a completionist. Now, I have fallen into that a couple times with certain things that I got that I wasn't crazy about in the past couple years. But I'm also not a troop builder and I don't need a ton of vehicles. So for me,
yep.
it was kind of a pass because I not only do I not have a real emotional tie to this character, but I wasn't really concerned about him. However, the problem is let's say that I was, okay?
Yeah.
When did we get notified that this guy was coming out?
I got mine. Well, nobody knew. It was
Right?
he came out the day after the images got leaked last Thursday. He come out on Friday, and nobody that I saw knew exactly what time he just dropped. I did not see any leaks or anything for it. And then you get a notification. I got that notification at 9:13 or 8:13, whatever time it was. It was 13
Mm-hmm.
minutes after the fact, and I saw
Yeah.
it, and I checked pulse, and he was gone.
Yeah. So
I don't pay $50 a year for that.
What good does that do? Like, I don't even understand it. And I know they put out an apology, and I had saved the picture. We don't need it. I saved a little screenshot of it. I don't need to save it. I think you've probably all seen it. But yes, okay. There's going to be more stock come later this fall. Isn't it funny though that they've never put something like that out before? That
Yeah, done it that way.
there's
The only thing that's
there's
come
gonna
close is the ill,
there's
and we
going to
know how
be
that
more
went.
stock. Oh, exactly. But it's like there's going to be more stock later on. Don't you guys worry. You're going to be able to get it. But like, this look, I'm not saying it's a freaking disaster, okay? But at the same time,
Yeah,
this was like a total turnaround that nobody, I mean, I don't know how, unless you literally are constantly checking every few
yeah,
minutes, and then and
and
in the
people do.
morning, and they do, and I understand it too, and I would never tell anybody not to, you know what I'm saying? But most people don't live like that. And so you expect those warnings, you get those emails, you get those notifications. This is not the first time I've gotten a notification from Pulse 15 minutes after something has dropped, by the way.
No,
As
no,
as
no,
a
me neither.
premium member. This is like the fourth or fifth time that I've gotten a notification, like 13, 14, 15 minutes later. Um, and I just see that as a problem, and especially
Yeah,
when it's something that sells out, right? It's one thing to have plenty of product. It's another thing to have something that maybe sells out. And I know they don't know that, but they have an idea.
they know that it can be handled better. You know,
Yes.
whoever's in charge of it. I don't put this at. I don't lay this at Emily. I've seen people trying to lay it on Emily.
No,
This was
no,
something
man.
done way above Emily. Um, with it. So I don't know. It was botched. I think it was botched. Part of my issue is I want the ferret in my hand before I go and buy another one. You know, maybe the wheel falls off of it. I don't want. It's like wreckage. I know Firefly might possibly be floppy. What's going on? No. So yeah, I want the ferret before I plunk down another $55 for a figure I know is going to be jacked
You
up
want to
and maybe
have
the
it in your
vehicle is too.
hands. Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to have it in
you
your
know
hands. You want to see
the
it. You want to know what it does before you decide all of a sudden you're going to plunk the money down on another one
yeah,
with a figure that you already know based off of the mold that you've had issues with, right?
yeah. Um, and like the Python bubble, we had the regular bubble before it come out.
Yes.
When I reviewed the Python bubble, I had the regular bubble and showed them, side by side. Um, why didn't they do that this time? I know everybody wanted the tiger paw, but they've not gotten in any hurry to rush out other stuff people are clamoring for. You know, why'd they do it this time? It was just a complete botch. They should have timed this later.
And I'm not saying, look, they do it on purpose. I mean, let's not kid
Yeah,
ourselves, right? Like there's a chain of people who filter all these things down and through, and there's a chain of events that happen. So, I'm not gonna blame it on the person who's on camera. I'm not gonna blame it on
yeah,
maybe necessarily the person that's off camera, but somewhere in there is this disconnect. And it's not the first time that this has happened. Now, the other times we've had an idea, we've known about other figures releasing, and therefore when I got that notification 13 minutes late, 15 minutes late, I was already on top of it because I was expecting it. I knew it was coming. I had a heads up. And so I would text you actually, and I'd show you like a screenshot, and I would joke about the fact, oh, hey, by the way, I just got the message for it, right? But I was already
Yeah.
on Pulse. I'd already bought it in the first minute it went live, you know. But
Right.
but nonetheless, it is interesting that that happens. But this time in particular,
Yeah.
it happened with something that nobody really truly knew what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, it broke. All of that broke about 6 o'clock the night before, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Was a matter of fact, Full Force was still talking about it when we were talking about it. So they were still doing a video on it. So
Yeah.
So that's that. We know what happened. It seems like it was just like Friday, but it seems like it was or Wednesday, whatever day it was. It's like it was a lifetime ago now. It was such a big deal when it happened, but it still pisses me off. It ramps my vamp, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. So I left this up here. I left Pulse up, and I've kind of scrolled through it a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You guys notice what's missing from the GI Joe splash page, right?
Now
Might have been
you and
talked
I
about.
went over this last night, and it took me a minute. It took me a minute. Some of our
Mhm.
probably eagle-eyed viewers are probably going to be on that more than I was. But it took me a minute, and even then, you kind of had to guide me on it. And so, yeah, I want to know if anybody gets it as they're scrolling through. And I don't know if there's a way to make that page any bigger, where it covers a little more
Um,
ground,
I don't know if
just so
there's a
that
way
way it's
to
not.
do that.
Um, I'll see.
Go through
I'll
these
see.
layouts here. So there. That's a little bit better. Take up the screen. I don't think I can make that any bigger than that. What's going on? War Chest just showed up. So, and I'll kind of scroll through it. Most people probably already know it's been talked
There you go.
about.
Yeah.
So, oh, by the way, this thing, if you don't know, scheduled to ship on the
Mm.
23rd, the text missile now.
So get ready to be charged, y'all. All right,
Yep,
get ready to be
get that
charged. You're
money
gonna
in
get the
there Friday.
email, and that said August. Was that August? Was that an August one? Previously?
No, it was May, I believe, on the
Okay,
text missile.
May. Okay, so it
I
got
think it
bumped
was
up.
May.
So just get
So,
ready to be charged. I see Crimson Cobra
so
Commander
I'm gonna
said
go
the
ahead and
trouble bubble.
no, it's
Crimson
actually
Cobra
still
Commander.
on there.
Okay, so he said the trouble bubble. So where would this fall in between? Where would you say as you're scrolling through the GI
There's the
Joe
bubble.
and everything that you can find for sale, even maybe if it says sold out, I don't know, some of it does. Where would you say it falls in between in these figures right here? Somewhere
Oh,
right in here, right?
yeah,
Should
it's
be
in this neighborhood. It's probably between one of these and one of these. Right
right.
here.
So you've got Tunnel Rat, Night Force, you got Metalhead, and then as you scroll up just a tad, just a little bitty bit, then we
Guys we just
see
got.
now just got. So it took me a minute to figure it out what was missing. If
So,
anybody else can figure it out, Darren had to tell me. So
yep. So we'll just go ahead and spill it. The vamp is no longer on the splash page. You can find the vamp
yep.
if you type it in.
Hell, they didn't even say, it said no results. There it
There
is.
we are.
But you're right. It's not on the splash page, which I find interesting that it's not on
Yep,
there.
they took it off.
Yeah.
It's the same thing they did with Range Viper. Did
Yeah.
that with Range Viper when he was so hard to get. I think Big Ben for a while. So I've been the one saying that the vamps are going to be back around and we'll be able to get them. And honestly, I think they've got a whole half a warehouse somewhere full of them. And they're waiting for just the right time to release another batch of them. They did release some more of them when the ferret went up. I don't know if anybody got one, but they did go back up when the ferret went up, and it was their hey, look over here while I'm grabbing your wife's butt over here kind of deal. They snuck those
Right.
in. I think there's more vamps. Um, I think there will be more, or they'll do another small run of them. But this may prove what we're going to see with the vehicles. Somebody, Aaron maybe said smaller runs, and oh no, yeah, it was Aaron. No second runs anymore. I think they will. I think there'll be another small run of them at some point,
Yeah.
whether they're already done or they remake them. I don't know, but I think we'll see some more at some point. I just wanted to point that out. If anybody didn't know, that we all knew it was sold out, but they've removed it from the Hasbro splash page now.
Yeah, I mean,
So
maybe to get ready for some a repaint on that one, if you know what I mean, right? Like what you were
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
at
yeah.
the
We
tube,
know the Stinger's coming.
right? And to answer this question right here, what if the Tiger Paw mess happened to distract everyone away from the negative feedback on the Night Force and Mad Marauders leak? Stop the old talk with the new talk, crusty old crow. I mean, I'm a big believer in, listen, these are companies, these are corporations we're talking about. And sometimes, yeah, sure, they do things to change the narrative. Maybe they are active, they're interested in your feedback. They probably they do pay attention, as we know this, right? We've talked, we've heard from Punk and other people, like they do watch the shows, they do pay attention to the feedback, especially
Yeah,
from the
we got
hardcore
thicker card
community.
backs finally.
Yeah, and that was huge,
Yep.
right? I mean, holy moly, man, that makes such a
Yeah,
difference.
that was
And
a big difference.
mhm.
Yeah,
So there are things that I think they definitely would like to maybe change the topic away, right? Change the narrative, change the
yeah,
topic, and things that they can go back and fix as well. In this case,
yeah.
I don't know, Crow. I'm maybe. It is interesting though that they would pull something from the splash page.
That's what she said.
But yeah, I heard that, Aaron. But like I think it happens sometimes. But I think your assumptions down south are probably in the ballpark in there somewhere. But there'll be another
Yeah,
run,
we'll
right? There'll
see.
be another run on these things, I would assume.
Yeah. So the other
I did.
thing
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other thing I wanted to point out that's changed recently, and this has also been like I found it. These guys here. So I wrote it down so I didn't have to click on them all individually. Pulse has moved Torch, Doc, and Night Creeper up, or no, I'm sorry, back to August 15th. Naugahyde, Jinx, are moved to, are still at 7/15, July 15th. Of course, we talked about the text missile is going to come the 23rd of this month. Amazon has moved all of those figures to May 31st. That is that's 6 weeks
That's wild,
difference
man. That's wild.
that Amazon has them. Now, I think we're going to see these figures move again. I think Hasbro is going to keep shuffling them around. I think maybe even the dates on Pulse and Amazon may change, but I said the third week of May on Tory Enhancer show. I said we're gonna get these figures the third week of May. I'm pretty damn close, but we'll see. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that those dates had gotten shuffled around a bit in case they didn't know. Yeah, J. Astro. Yeah, they say in hand by July 1st. You're right. I forgot to write that in my notes. But if you look at the individual figures, it says they're all going to be released on May 31st. It says actually my delivery date on them is July 3rd. And I got a gnat in here that Aaron must have sent up here from Georgia because something always bothers him flying around. So yeah, they do say release on 5/31, but my delivery date says 7/1, so that's quite a bit, 5 weeks difference. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, right here, right there.
Hell yes. And that's something I'm going to talk about in a little while. That's one of
Yeah.
my
So,
things that I want to talk about in just a little while. I've brought it up a
yep.
couple times, but I definitely want to talk about that and get y'all's feedback for sure.
Yep. So, let's see. We got, we'll let you talk a little bit about some of the GI Joe Transformers action going on, and the thing that come out today. You're a little more
Well,
versed in that.
actually, I was gonna say because you actually might have to verse me on that because while I was looking up articles on the GI Joe Transformers crossover movie, you may have come across something that I haven't because man, I've been bouncing around all over this thing today looking for stuff, and I didn't want to get into sharing articles. You know, I know I did it
Yeah.
last week, and don't get me wrong, that's something that I definitely will do more on my channel. But at the same time, I think it can be helpful in information and informing, about stuff. But I didn't want to sit and just read through an article, right? And
Yeah.
and so we all know about the GI Joe Transformers crossover movie. We saw at the what was at the end of the Rise of the Beast movie where
Yeah.
there's a scene, a credit scene that you see that GI Joe is going to be
Spoiler
introduced,
alert.
right? Yeah, yeah. If anybody don't know, I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Everybody here
anybody that's
knows.
anybody that's worried about getting spoiled on the 6th or 7th Transformers movie at this point, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. All right.
But there's one thing that actually kind of excites me about it, and I don't even really know how much it matters, right? Because we don't know anything about the plot. We don't really know. We don't know if they're going to take it from the Energon universe. We don't know if they're going to take it, from these new comics, right? However, there are a couple things that do excite me, and I do want to, and I hate to share this because IGN just has like they're the worst with ads. So it's like trying to look at their ads. Anyway, okay. So here's what excites me right here. It is confirmed. Steven Spielberg will be an executive producer, which I'm sure everybody's read that to an extent. I am okay with all the other names on this list except for one. Can you guys, I'll give you just a few seconds to type it in. Can you guys tell me what name out of this highlighted section do you not want to see? I'll wait a few seconds.
I can't even see it here. I got to blow it
Can you
up
not
and
see
see if
it?
I can see it. Okay, I see it.
Yeah. All right. Hang on, because
Yeah.
that damn ad. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, ad messes everything up. Oh yeah, we already know what that
There's
name is.
one name I know that I hear, and I was gonna say I'll wait, but if nobody's really putting any names in there, it's Bonaventura.
Yeah.
That's the name I don't want anywhere near this project.
No, I can deal with
Um,
Michael Bay being around it.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
you say what you want about Bay formers, but
sure.
they are better than Bonaventura Joes.
I'm sorry, but like, let's not kid ourselves. Um, I don't know anybody in this circle, right? I don't know anybody in this fellowship that's like, man, those movies were awesome. Were there entertaining parts? Yeah, there were entertaining parts,
Yeah.
right? But um man, I want another writer to take a crack at it. I want
Yeah.
somebody else that and also too, and that's it's no we all know this is that, I'm not saying the reason why we haven't gotten a hooded Cobra Commander, right? He's not the only reason why, but that he has been the main proponent, right?
Yeah.
And of that. So I know that definitely doesn't endear him rather to anybody. But as far as the actual movie, man, I'm stoked. We've known about this for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's something that
I'm
we
going.
could possibly be looking forward to in the next 1 to 2 years.
I mean, I'll go see it because of what it is, but
Oh, of course.
it's gonna be one of those movies that my expectations are gonna be so low. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised.
Way
Is
down.
what. Yeah. So
Way down.
I've got a comment starred from Crimson Cobra Commander. Said, question: do you think we might get classified Transformer GI Joe crossover figures? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna ride that pony till the legs fall off. Whether they are more of the Transformers vehicle crossovers, or we start getting Joes, we've already got like Mole Rat and stuff that's in that Energon universe, the Night Force.
Yeah.
They're all leading up to crossing over their two big properties because they're the ones that are making money for them right now. So yeah, you are correct. Bumblebee was
Yes.
a GD Beetle.
I
Um,
was just responding to that on the
yeah,
chat.
so
Yes,
um,
100%.
I agree. I do agree. That part pissed me off in that first movie when they did that, but we also hadn't seen the new Camaro yet, so it was kind of like, we're gonna trick you over here, but look at this.
I mean,
So
and I get it, right? Like there was some things that I was fine with the Transformers movies. I think as they went along, a lot of the stuff that actually the fans and what people really enjoy, like the transforming sounds and watching the Transformers actually transform, they streamlined all that. So in the sequels, they really streamlined. And if you go back and watch, they get away from showing you the transformations and it just is this
yeah,
really quick, or they transform off screen. You see that a lot too,
yeah, just
as the
bunch of
movies went along.
CGI.
Hmm.
That was the one thing that I did not like about the Transformers movies. Was that was what I didn't like the most, was I can't tell who I'm looking at. They
Yeah.
didn't they all look the same. They all look like giant CGI trash, and they all look identical if they aren't speaking, or I don't know specifically which ones are fighting each other. I have no idea which is which. And
Oh yeah,
they
you're
could have
absolutely
made
right.
that they could have given them some more distinguishing features. But I want to read a War Chest comment.
Yep.
Barely managed to produce a decent Transformers movie. They've yet to deliver a satisfying G.I. Joe film. I'm not entirely convinced it's a wise move, and Bonaventura needs to go. I agree with you 100%. Yeah,
I
me
agree
too. He was
too.
my favorite. Devastator
Um,
and Soundwave were my favorites. So,
yeah, yeah, definitely
uh,
the shitty versions of those. I also think too that we've what we've already gotten uh out of GI Joe is they're hyper focused on the ninja part of it. Like they think that ninja is like the key to somehow tapping into
yeah,
whatever zeitgeist that they're going to tap into to make whatever movie successful. And
yeah,
and I wish they wouldn't go that route. You and I both know, and most everyone here knows if they're old enough. In the 80s, ninjas was what it was all about.
yes,
You you
sir.
you go to your local mall and they had your Ancient Express or your Orient Way or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
You could buy your Ninja
Oriental Way.
Stars. Yeah, man. You could buy your Ninja Stars. You could buy your tabby boots. You could buy your freaking gauntlets or your head, your masks. You could buy your full suits. You get it all right in the 80s at
Yep.
the mall. But I get it, and trying to find a focus for those movies, trying to find a focal point. You can say, okay, this is what we're going to make the ninja action awesome, and we're going to have these awesome fight scenes. But most of the people I think that are going to go out and see your GI Joe movie is going to be people that want to see GI Joe, not just
Yeah.
the ninja part, and not just like one or two or three characters
Yeah.
that are modern and updated for a modern audience. We want to see some
That's the other
authenticity.
thing. That's the other thing they did. They went full ninja, and they went way too far into sci-fi. They had the idea, they
Right.
had the team idea right. Like we saw a lot of Joes that
Yeah.
had a minute and a half of screen time, and they had relatively decent character stories. Now, I ain't saying they were all good, but they had the right amount of story plot threads for characters. They could have been done better, true, but I think they had the right amount of intertwining plots. They just picked the wrong plots and the wrong shit to do a movie about. The flow
Right.
was good, but they leaned way too hard into the sci-fi element. And Joe's always going to have sci-fi stuff. I mean, the original Joe's had a laser trooper, so it's always going to be there. But when you start introducing enhancing suits and nanomites that destroy the Eiffel Tower, however, those played heavily in the Devil's Due series, and I did enjoy the Devil's Due series. I got way back into Joe's when that come out, but
Yes.
making everything the focus of the movie and taking it so far in a futuristic direction. And then you got the Snake Eyes Origins movie. You got the second Joe movie that had every damn ninja in there. You know, they need to dial it back, stick to the military unit, sprinkle in some real backstory. They have, you know, we've all said it 100 times. We know they have the plot. Like, they don't need to update anything other than the timeline. You know, you can't go all the way back to Vietnam, go back to the Gulf War, that 90s era, up into the early 2000s, you know, whatever. You can change that part a little bit and make it work, but you don't have to have people running around in flying Robotech suits and shit. And people don't want it. Like, they don't want to see that. It's for kids. We don't want to see that. People spending the money, they don't want to see it, and they just don't get the message.
I think that, and there, you know, I read an article a couple of years ago, and maybe some of y'all did too. And I can't remember what magazine it was for. It could have been any one of the video game magazines, but there was a guy that said basically G.I. Joe needs to be a period movie. If you're going to do a movie, take it back to the 80s, put it in the time period that it came out of, and just stay true to that because of what it was about, right? And what it comes from. And I think that actually is the best idea. You just take it back a few decades, you take it into the era it comes from, and I think that in a sense that could lean into not the goofiness, but I think just the imaginational part of it, if that makes any sense. And I know it sounds kind of stupid, but like, you know, in that time, if you look back to that time period, man, like, we're coming out of Star Wars, and everything, you know, was like, oh my gosh, sci-fi, right? But in our own lives, everything was grounded in Cold War. And there was a definitive good, there's a definitive bad, and you could identify both of those things. And I feel like that's something that's been lost a bit. And so I feel like if it was period correct, and yes, you had the costumes, you know, you had the look of those costumes. We've seen it done with Marvel. We've seen it done and done well. The difference is you need someone who can write a good movie. I look, 100%
Knows the source material.
Knows the source material. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Absolutely, Bobby. You do a Pyramid of Darkness or a Weather Dominator, dude, like, written well, it's something that's relatable, would be fantastic. It would absolutely be fantastic. Yep. And having just watched the Fallout show this past week or whatever, when it first came out last week, having watched that show, it is possible to take an IP that is fantastical and actually do it well. And I think that with G.I. Joe especially, and with Transformers too, man, we don't need to change it all up. We don't need to make it modern. We need to take it back a few decades and base it off of what it came from. And I think, and yes, I'll tell you what, here's something real quick I just want to show, and that's from Crimson Cobra Commander. Is it
I'm trying to highlight it too.
I know but we've done that a couple times, so I apologize. We both trying to play with the chat a little bit. More serious or more Sunbow? I want more Sunbow with a coherent plot. The Sunbow stuff, we all know, guys are going to jump out of their planes getting shot with parachutes. We all know those goofy little things. But I'm talking about, like, yes, more like Sunbow in the outfits and the lore and stuff, but not as silly as some of those plot lines for a 30-minute episode would be.
We can't do 2 hours of Cobra Commander wanting to put his face on the moon.
No, and we're gonna get to a couple of these cartoons here in a little bit too. You know what I mean? So yes, I'm more of the Sunbow for sure. I don't want a serious G.I. Joe. I don't need my heartstrings tugged at unless it's in a nostalgic way with the characters.
I'd like to see somewhere in the middle. I think
sure.
somewhere between Predator, A-Team, and Sunbow. The somewhere in the middle of those two is what I want. I don't know how to make that like come to life, but that is my idea for vision of it. No, we do not need that in the movie. They can do that if they do another Snake Eyes movie. Jay Astro.
Now,
but only if they have Timber doing this.
Jay Astro, I'm gonna tell you. Oh my God, that's awesome. Jay Astro, when I get my channel launched, if you want to come on there and you want to make that comment and you want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to. We ain't gonna dive too much into it here. However, yes, dude, yes, as long as Timber is doing this dance move right here,
as long as Timber's dancing like an Egyptian, that's all I want right there. So I want to say what's up. Same time Toys just showed up, and also highlighted a couple of his comments. But Bobby Waltz here, I didn't holler at him when he come in. So that's my thoughts on that. So let's move on here. Let's get into what we set out for. Let's talk about his is Liz Abs, and talk about what we think we might be getting, what we might see.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna start with this one right here. I ain't gonna go over the hiss because some of us have the hiss. The hiss is come and gone, but this is the one we're waiting on right here. I am really excited for this. The last when they were running this campaign, this was my first Haslab. I did back this. This is my first one that I have put my money in, and I'm doing the countdown, waiting on. Very excited for this. Wild Bill is in my top 5, in my top 10 for sure, but probably in my top 5 favorite Joes. Love Wild Bill. This was the first vehicle that I had. I got the Sky Striker, but this one was the first one that I saw because I've always been more of a helicopter guy than a jet guy. This really tugs at my childhood. So I was really excited when this wound up being the Haslab. Of course, we all had the speculation, just like we're going to have in another 6 weeks when it's hyping up over what it's going to be. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I just wanted to show this because I'm so excited for this thing. And Wild Bill with them 245 long coats. Yeah! Oh! So I can't wait for that shit. So I am really, really happy for this Haslab. The only thing I'm not happy with is why have we not gotten any updates at all on it? Seems like there had been quite a few more during the Hiss campaign, while it was going on. You know, the little Cobra Commander message coming in and whatever. How come we hadn't had that very horrible, horrible voice actor coming in with Hawk? Why in the world did they get that dude to
Yeah.
play Hawk in that? Well, this here G.I. Joe, we gonna bring us in an assault helicopter to deal with
Uh,
their hiss. I think they mixed up Wild Bill, what
yes.
he should have
Yes.
sounded like with Hawk. It
Yeah.
was terrible.
Maybe, you know what? Honestly, though, man, listen, you and I both know. I mean, listen to our accents too, man. Like, do you think that corporations want to put our accents out into the world that often? I don't
Oh
think
no, no.
so. And so when you're trying to promote a product and a toy, you know, what made that Sunbow cartoon, you know, years ago is you actually had a lot of guys that did have that accent and they played that up. They played it up from where they were from and all that. I just think in marketing material, that's just not something they want to. They just don't want to go there, dude.
But they
I'm
did
telling
it.
you.
I mean, they just did it. They just did it in July with Hawk. So I don't care. I just bring horrible Hawk back to give us an update on this thing and
Well, that
tease
yeah,
me
I
a little
get it.
bit. Quit edging me. Tell me a little closer about when it's coming. That's what I want to know.
Right,
Quit
right.
edging me. Let's get to the good part. So this year's Haslab, we talked about it and we kind of had some differing opinions on it a little bit. So what do
Yeah.
you got any ideas on what you think it's actually gonna be? Because I've got a couple and I'm gonna
I
lay
mean,
out why.
I think we all um I think we all have probably our guesses, and I think most of us are on the same side of everything. There's about 3 or 4 vehicles that I think we all would probably agree that we want to see or whatever. I will tell you that one of those I'll share right here. Um, this bad boy right here,
Yep.
the Hydrofoil. I think most GI Joe collectors would probably like to see this thing right here. I would love to see this thing right here. I mean, come on. I don't think it's so massive that it would be extremely crazy expensive. Um, I think, you know, a classic
Yeah.
version with a couple updated little things for it would be cool. We have gotten air. We've gotten land, right? You know, so we've got the hiss, we've got the dragonfly. Obviously, I would assume a water vehicle would be coming next, and since we got Cobra first, and then we got Joe second, I assume they'll follow that pattern. I could be wrong, but my Hydrofoil is going to be my first one on the list that I think um, would be the next Haslab. Just guessing.
Yeah. That's that is my first guess as well. And for that reason, we got land, um, we got air with the dragonfly. They've got to give us C. What did I do with the
Hmm.
layout here? That's the one I'm looking for. So they've got to give us C. Now somewhere supposedly it has been said by Hasbro, they've come out and said, and I just saw this, so I didn't see it. I saw somebody say it, that they're not going to focus much on air vehicles and sea vehicles because they're harder to you know, yeah, you got to hold it up and fly it around. You got to pretend it's water. You got to build a water
Sure.
diorama, whatever you're going to do. I can see them doing that going forward. I think they are going to do one of each. And next year, if they go back to G.I. Joe, I think it will be another Joe land vehicle. But I think they will give us one of each. And we may have to wait a while or have to fight our vehicles with other smaller vehicles. But I do think they're going to go with the land, sea, and air theme. It's in the damn song. Um, So that is my guess for the first one. That's the one. That's what I think the most that it's gonna be.
So
Personally,
you and I are kind of both on the same idea as that, right?
yeah.
With
And
that,
then
yeah.
you got another one in mind?
I do. I did just see this comment too, though, which I think you and I both have talked about this as well. The water moccasin is
Yeah,
probably just a little too small.
yeah, I
Just
do
a little too
too.
small to be a Haslab item, right?
I think if the small vehicles do catch on, the Vamp, the Ferret, and I mean, obviously they're catching on, I think we might see some more stuff in that price point. It won't come with Copperhead because we got Copperhead without it. So I think we may get some vehicles like that. I would love to see a water moccasin myself. That is one of my favorite vehicles because I like
Me
Copperhead so
too.
much. The
Yeah, man.
airboat, we're in the South, don't have a lot of them here in Tennessee, but a little further down you go, you see airboats everywhere around the coast and on some of the lakes. So I always loved it. I'd love to see the water moccasin.
Yes.
But HasLab's got to meet certain criteria, right? It cannot be a small to medium smallish vehicle.
Right.
It's got to be something that is big enough to warrant being a HasLab. And it also has to be something recognizable enough to be a HasLab. They've got to hit a sweet spot with the right size vehicles that
Yes.
appeal to the largest amount of the collector base. Now, nobody's buying these for kids. No, they know. I mean, I'm sure you may, but 95% of people buying these HasLabs, they're buying this for us to play with, go on a shelf, whatever we're going to do with them. But
Yep.
they've got to meet certain criteria to justify being able to call it a HasLab. So your bigger to large size vehicles are what they can focus on. So you've got to narrow your window into what fits in that and what will hit the most feels for the most people. So
Yes.
there's not a lot of stuff that falls into that whole Venn diagram
I
that's going to
agree.
be affordable.
I agree. And I think, while everybody kind of has their favorite, I think they're not too they know that like there are certain ones they need to hit that's going to draw the most interest, that's going to pull in right enough of everybody. You may
Yeah.
have some certain ones that yes, certain people really really like, but they need to be smart about it. You're talking about a mass produced thing. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a HasLab. The demand will obviously determine the supply. So the demand is
Yeah.
going to do that. So I've got one here that I'm gonna share that I think considering some things we're getting here eventually soon, uh, I think is gonna be the next thing, and that is this right here. I think with the Grenadiers coming out, um, I think the Demon is probably something that as a HasLab, I know it's got some moving parts, right? It's got some stuff on it that's
Yeah. You had
you
this.
know, I did have it. I absolutely had it.
I
It was
didn't have the demon.
yeah, it was definitely right at that, period of time where I was starting to age a little bit, age out, so to speak, and I wanna show that real quick because Woody said this earlier, and I just wanted to
Yeah, I
highlight that.
saw it. I just
Yeah,
couldn't say
I
nothing about it, but I
and
saw
I
it
did
too.
yeah, and I didn't wanna say nothing about it. If you wanna highlight that other one, you just did, but I wanted to
I
highlight that
saw
for
it.
a second because yeah, he had said that, and I didn't wanna say nothing because it was the next one on my list. Um, there are a couple others that I think, obviously are possible. One in particular, I think that you're about to show. However, I think with the Grenadiers, I think with that theme coming out here, coming up soon, that would be a cool HasLab. But man, it has a lot of moving parts, especially with it making it stand up,
Yeah.
higher and bringing the treads together and all that. And I just don't know if that's something feasible in the size of a demon, right? I
Man,
don't
I
know.
think I think they can do it. They're gonna have to tweak it, but I mean, look what they did to the hiss. You know, it opens up in the back now. You can
Yeah,
put
but the
figures in
hiss,
there.
that's a simpler. I think that's a simpler toy though
I
than
agree.
this.
Yeah, it is less, a lot less moving parts. And the original hiss was kind of, it was kind of designed for it to be that way up here in our imaginations, right?
Yeah,
You didn't.
right.
I never, I always assumed the hiss. There were guys in the back of it, and the door, it would open up, and you get at least two guys in there. They just,
Sure.
it was what 1983, so. Um, but I think they could definitely do the demon. Um, we're highly speculated that Destro and the Despoiler is going to be one of the convention exclusives or
Man, that'd
Pulse
be awesome.
exclusives,
That'd be
something.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
personally, I believe that. I think it will be. I don't know which one. We know Starduster's coming, probably SDCC.
Right.
So who knows? But I think that will make Destro something. And because we're getting the Grenadier Soldiers been name dropped. The rumor all but confirmed are the Iron Grenadier bats. So that definitely fits in. What's up to Legend series just snuck in. I think the demon definitely fits in with what they're going. That's why I think it could possibly be this year's. But
Right.
I kind of think they might wait until we actually have Iron Grenadiers. I mean, we got
Well, right.
Metalhead, so maybe not.
I think
But it's definitely a
ultimately,
good pick.
yeah, and listen, I'm not in any particular order here, by the way. Just so anybody knows, this is not a 1 through 5 for me. This is not my wants. I think I just kind of put this list together, said, "Hey, this is what I think." However, you're right. Without the Grenadiers, but let's talk about how long it takes to get a Haslab going, or how long it takes to,
That's
get
true.
one out. So we're not like, I don't think they're going to start the next one in the next couple months. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but it takes some time, right? So we got a decent amount of time, but this is one I just thought would be fun to bring up. What about you? You have one that I was going to, but I will let you do it. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorite.
and that is a good point on that, because can you, I don't know if that will completely remove your share if I
Oh
take it
shit, my
off.
bad.
I'm not
Actually, you know
sure.
what? That's my bad. Nah, I got you. There you go.
I didn't know if it totally deleted or not.
No, I wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention. I was trying to type in the chat.
that's a good point on the demon. We're not going to get it till sometime next year, so we will have Iron Grenadiers and Destro if he's coming, and Iron Grenadier bats if he's coming. So we
Yeah.
might already have a ready-made Iron Grenadier army. So the one that I think you might be talking about, and I know the chat's definitely been talking about it,
Oh baby.
is that one right
Yes.
there.
Wild
Uh,
Weasel. Give me some
yeah.
of it.
Yep.
Mm.
Like it. I love it. I love this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got it when I was a kid for Christmas at the side of the family that I mentioned. The cousin lives in South Carolina. I got it at that Christmas um, gathering, and it was one of my favorite things ever. And of course, it comes with this dude right here, one of
Man.
the best looking named Cobras that has ever been or ever will be. This thing was so much fun to play with. It was a little bit fragile though, and it had a whole lot of shit to lose on it. No toy
Yes.
enhancer likes putting these back together. I loved this toy so much. I probably lost some of these bombs within the first month. And I don't think my landing gear survived intact, but this was one of the last vehicles that I remember like having the shell of still parts of it
Oh,
laying
sure.
around whenever all of my vehicles went bye-bye.
Right.
So
Right.
the Rattler is a perfect candidate for it. It's just on the cusp of being too small and too big. It's just right. It's like Goldilocks said,
Yeah.
it's just right. It's gonna be wide. It was a pretty wide plane. Um, but I think for what they're doing with Haslabs and aiming it at collectors and toy enthusiasts like us, I think it is a perfect choice. And if they don't go with the land, sea, and air theme, I think
Uh-huh.
this is what we're going to get. So I'd love to see it. I'd be in for a Rattler all day.
Well, I love this plane. I mean, good God, what's not to like
Look, how
about it?
can you
Like,
not?
we know what it's designed off of and everything. It's just this plane takes me to G.I. Joe 1980s based upon somewhat real life war, you know, it's still grounded.
Based off real stuff, yeah,
It's
yeah,
still grounded, right? And so this is the stuff that I love right here. I'd be thrilled if this is what they announced. I'd be 100% thrilled. And yeah, I'd be all in. I mean, I don't know. I'm Aaron, that's funny. Yeah, I would be all in 100%, and I know a lot of people would. I mean, come on, this is as classic Cobra as it gets. And
yeah,
that's it's a great pick. It's on my list, but yeah, I saw you kind of pop that picture up and get it ready, and I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
let's go with that. I'm
yeah.
down.
Let's go, as the kids like to say.
So I am going to mention one that we talk about water vehicles, right? And we talk about like they're hard to do, right? And so I'm going to talk about one that I think would not be that hard to do, and it would be fine for setting on the ground or water. Um, how about this one?
Yeah,
How
that's
about this one? Do you think that this one would work as a Haslab? It's big. It's a big thing. It has troop carriage. It has there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this. There's a lot of cool pieces. I know it's not. I guess some people may say, well, it's kind of plain. How much do I think it would cost? Man, are we talking about the Rattler? Or are we talking about this bad boy? If we're talking about the
he asked.
Rattler,
He asked about the Rattler originally.
okay, the Rattler. Man, I mean, look, you're probably talking. I would say they probably do like 349,
That's what I
359,
think. Yeah,
349, another
about
$50. Now
about
this,
350.
yeah, about 350. Loch Ness
Don't let
monster.
that soul. Don't let that soul hit the curtains. Oh Lord, Thomas.
Loch Ness monster, give me my 350.
Damn Loch Ness monster, no money.
um, now, as far as the whale's concerned, I don't know. I think the whale, yeah, for 6-inch
What's going
scale,
on,
it's
Mr.
gonna
Wonderful?
be hell yeah.
Thanks for coming by.
It's gonna be wild. As far as that scale, but I don't know. I mean, 299, 350. I mean, look,
Mm-mm.
freaking dragonfly is like 2 feet long, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
narrow though, man. The
it
whale
is
is like the
narrow.
size of 2 cinder blocks.
I think about the hiss. I think about the hiss tank, and I think about the size of it, and that's a big toy, man.
Yeah. Like what Crimson Cobra Commander says here, this is something that I wanted to touch on with the whale. I was hoping that you would bring the whale up because I was going to if you didn't.
Okay.
Um, I think here's the thing. I think we're gonna get one more reasonable Haslab, uh, reasonable price. I think
before
they're
they
going to
go all
start.
in.
I think they're going to go up on them, and I think they're
Yeah.
going to go with some bigger stuff. I think the hydrofoil could possibly be 350 if they do the hydrofoil.
Okay.
They've done like look the katana was 500, the rebel the ghost was 500. What was Unicron like 799?
Oh, Jesus, man. But that thing
I
was
mean,
absolutely
yeah, I mean,
massive.
you talking about, I mean, Transformers, Grail of Grails. I probably, if I'd have known about it back then, I probably would have tried to get Unicron.
I
And I don't
feel
even
you.
collect
I
Transformers.
know. I don't either, and I
Um,
remember when it was
but
going on, but so I understand that. Yes.
I think the whale, if they did the whale, it would be at least 4, um, possibly up to 5 if they did the whale. And I don't know, like I would definitely want to try and get one, but
Right.
I'd have to pull some strings if it was $500 to I could make it happen. I wouldn't be real happy about it, and it ain't something I could just be like, yeah, done. Give me 3 of them, like some of these assholes on the classified page on Facebook that just like, look at me, I bought 12 of everything, and they're never going to open them. They just want to
Yeah.
show you that picture.
Yeah.
I couldn't do something like that. I could probably make it. I would make it happen, but I think the whale would easily be 400 and up. Um, Modifying
I
it, bringing it up to date for
You're
six
probably right.
inch.
Yeah, you're probably right on that. I mean, and listen, my figures are probably way off. I think a lot of people in this chat would know way more than I would at scale what these things probably would be. If I throw a figure out there, I would say that everybody else probably will know way more for me, better than me, what I think the cost would be. I do think you are correct, and I think most everybody in here they're talking $400 or $500. That's what it kind of seems like. And then Aaron, 3 for me. I did see the comment about it being kind of boring, but Jay Astro, and I could understand that. I could understand that to an extent, right? Like, but I just don't think Hasbro is going to do a Haslab and it's going to be boring, if that makes any sense. I mean,
No, I
I,
don't. I don't think.
I
I mean, with what we've
if they're
got,
going to do one, even
no,
with the whale,
not for Joe's.
I don't. Yeah, not for Joe's. I don't think it's going to be boring. I think if you kind of look at this picture and you go, okay, it's green, it's got a black tube, right? Whatever. I fully can understand that. But at the same token, I don't think that if they were going to do this, I do not think in any shape, form, or fashion that it would be boring. I think they would make sure that this would be something special. And considering the size of it,
Yeah,
that they, just like with the hiss, with certain lights, right, certain amenities, so to speak, extras, they would do the same thing with something like this, especially if you're going to charge $500. You're
yeah,
going to charge
I
400,
think you would.
$500. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
and
not going
then
to play
and
around.
them damn veins that go over the back over the fans better not snap off easy either.
Well,
That
that's
was the
true.
first
That was
thing to go on
oh
them.
my God, dude. And we used to take this thing, out in the creek that ran right
Yeah,
behind your house.
it floated
And
for
it
reals.
sure would float for reals. And we would take it out. But I swear to God, every time we gathered our dudes back up, man, we were scouring around, making sure there was no man left behind.
Yeah, something, and you had to take a bunch of the stuff out too, like the depth charges and all that stuff. Like
Yes.
I was always afraid to
Uh-huh.
lose that stuff. Of course, I lost it all anyway, but yeah, so I would like to see it. I don't know. If this was a year that I thought we were going to get a Joe vehicle, this would probably be my likely candidate for it, because Joe's don't
Yeah.
really have any other Haslab-ish size water vehicles.
Right.
They're all that I can recall. Now they could do something like the tactical battle platform. That would be badass, but you talk about kind of boring. I think it
Man,
would fund, but they'd have to
I
put some cool ass
agree.
figures with it. You
Man,
had it and it was fun, but
I did. Yes, I did. The tactical platform. Yeah, it's awesome. But I just wonder. I mean, how do you do a battle station that's for 6 inch? It's like, how much would they charge to do a pit? I mean,
oh yeah, oh man. Yeah, you might as well be talking flag, but they could do a
that's
pit something similar to Cat Slayer. It wouldn't,
yeah.
they
I
could do
just
it that way.
wonder something like that.
Mm, I'm getting freeze up. What's freezing up? Is Pop Blender freezing up or am I? There's Action Figs. What's going on, Action Figs? Good to see you in here. Thank you for coming by. I think we might have lost Pop Blender for a minute. Hmm. Yeah, I would like to see. I'd like to see the headquarters too. That would be a cool one. I'd like to get. I think if they do a headquarters, they're going to do something modular, like sections together. Whenever they get around to doing like they were talking about with the like maybe doing stuff for shelf space and things. I think they might get around to doing something like that with the headquarters and the I don't think they would do a headquarters and a pit. Yeah, he just texted me. I think he's rebooting stuff. Um, I think he probably had a something going on. As he had an internet outage really quick. So I I would like to see a headquarters. I had the headquarters. I thought it was cool. Crow's got a good idea here. Give us the 82 missile command. That would sell. I think that would sell if that was like a modular type thing that they did and had the big missile and you could put other pieces around it with consoles and just that would be pretty sweet. I never had that thing and I've never actually even seen one in person, even one that's in kitty shape. I've always thought that missile command would be really neat. So I've got one other one that I had, and while we wait on him to reboot, this is one I don't see get kicked around a whole lot or proposed. Keep it cardboard and charge us 400. Yeah. Um, One that I don't see proposed a whole lot. It does come up in the discussion because it does kind of fit the criteria. But what about that? I love that thing. What do you guys think about the Havoc? Look at that, man. When somebody got this. Remember them old green Walmart stickers? Look at that. Was that 1247 or 1747? Y'all remember them old green Walmart stickers? I got some card backs that still have those on there. But what y'all think about the Havoc? Anybody like the Havoc? I loved it. But of course, I like cross country, and yes, I know he would need a serious update. I don't think we'll ever get a cross country. He was talking earlier about people and cartoons and stuff that sound like us. Cross country. Did anybody else like the Havoc? I had this thing, and I really, really did love it. I always put Roadblock in the little flying thing that broke loose and shuttled around. I think the Havoc would be a good choice. It is right. Yeah, I do. I do, and I know I would get him in an altered version. I'm okay with that. Yeah, working treads. They did it with the hiss. It would be large. Yeah. This here's fighting music. Every time I play it, somebody wants to fight me. Um, it would be large. This would not. I don't think would even touch being in a $300 price range. I think it would be like the whale if they did it. I think it would be at least four. Is my thoughts on it. I don't what do you guys think price on it would be? Yeah, that would be they did the radio on it. That would be a cool little nod like the fudgy bar if they give us a Havoc and put the tape deck in
I
it.
gotta do this all over again.
Yep, and start adding stuff in. Uh, I was showing the Havoc. I thought that was one we kind of talked about a little bit. I think the Havoc would be a cool choice, and it's right on the line of,
Check one.
is
All
it
right, give me a
iconic
second.
enough?
I gotta get my damn headphones
We can
ready.
we can hear you.
Ain't
So
that a
we
bitch?
can. um, but I think that's my only thing with the Havoc is it iconic enough, and did enough people like the Havoc to do it as a Haslab? I think it would fund. I don't think people would be super duper as pleased with it as something like the Rattler or the Mauler, the Whale, stuff like that. That's one we hadn't talked about, was the Mauler. I don't have it pulled up, but that's one people have talked about. It is a little bit more of a modern tank, so the
All right,
Mauler's a
damn it.
possibility. We can hear you just fine.
Yeah, no, I know, and I can hear you now too. My
Okay.
internet just took a big shit. So yeah, son of a bitch. So I just had to reset the modem. And something we've all had to do, I'm sure, at some point in time. Ain't that a motherfucker? All right,
Yeah.
anyway.
So Matthew
So
says the Havoc would be a bad choice.
so I
I don't
agree. I agree with that. I'm actually not a fan of the Havoc, at least as a Haslab personally. I did remember it. I did like it. I like cross country. But as a Haslab, I don't it would it get the support? I guess.
I think it would fun, man. They would have to. I think for them to come up with something that wouldn't fund GI Joe as a Haslab, they're going to have to do like a Cobra Law playset. I don't see them.
Yeah,
Here's my boy.
maybe. I
I
mean,
don't see them.
maybe. I
I
know it.
see most anything that they come up with, I can see funding. But why, Matthew? Why don't you think that it would be a great idea to do a Havoc? And I saw he didn't originally mention it, but uh, they were talking about the Rolling
Yeah.
Thunder. Could you imagine the
Yeah.
Rolling Thunder as a
Whew,
Haslab?
Lord have mercy, man. That's
How
a beast.
large, and the price? It'd be
Yeah,
grand.
you think so? I mean, that thing would be
It'd be
huge, man. I
close.
mean, if they wanted to go all out, I had thought about the Havoc, and I don't have it written down on my list. But I had thought about it. But when I looked at it, ultimately at the end of the day, I was like, man, I just don't know if that's I don't know, man. I think they'd have to do I just think they'd have to do maybe something different with it. I think with the little hover, you know, vehicle on the back, the way the guys lay down in the front, is this a favorite vehicle of a lot of people?
I
I
don't
mean,
think
is
it's
it?
anybody's favorite.
But
I think
is
there's
it?
enough people that like it that would buy it, but I don't think it's anybody's favorite.
Well, and maybe that's the wrong thing for me to ask. I guess my question is that is it enough? Right, Matthew. I think there's other vehicles they need to do first before they would get to this one. And that's like we talk about the figures, and we talk about how there's
Yeah.
certain figures that they need to do first, right? Like, man, they're going to do this guy. Why have they not done this guy? And so I just feel like there are other ones that would be better served done first than the Havoc. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
cool.
I do too. It's just one I would like to see,
Yeah.
and it's in the size range of what a Haslab would need to be.
Um,
It fits the size. It's slightly on the larger side, but I think
yeah.
it would be a possibility for the criteria it needs to fit. Crimson Cobra Commander, I do not, but I realize I'm in the minority. And I saw somebody
Yeah.
up here mention the Warthog, and I'm trying to
I
find
saw that
where
too.
the original comment went. Yeah,
I saw the Warthog
somebody
too.
brought it up. I had that. I
Um,
love the warthog.
so I have a couple I have a couple of them I wanted to show you real quick, uh, that I thought, um, we might see, uh, before I get to before I get to my serious one. How about a Haslab of this? Or Checkpoint Battle Station, how about a
Well, your
Haslab?
internet's freezing up, so that wasn't
Still?
quite as dramatic as you hoped for.
Are you serious? Man, ain't that a bitch? How about this one? Does that one show through?
Oh, there. Wait, there. Oh, there it is.
Okay. So
It's
on
it's
my
still
end,
loading for me. Okay, there you go.
God
Somebody
damn it.
mentioned it earlier. It's up now.
I was hoping somebody
So
did.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I don't
mentioned earlier. I had it.
know. On my
I
end,
liked the bug, but
are
you talk about out there and cause outrage.
yes, that would absolutely 100%. And I only wanted to bring that up because I thought it was funny. I thought it'd be kind of goofy. I don't know if this one did the other one come through at all? The
No, the bug
checkpoint.
was all I saw on my end.
Okay, this was the other one I was joking about. What if we got a
Mm-mm.
Haslab still loading?
Still loading.
Damn, you got to be kidding me.
The outpost defender
Outpost
checkpoint.
defender.
Well, we shit, Turkish Murphy's got us covered on that thing. We don't need no Haslab for that. Turkish
So
Murphy's making awesome
I
ones.
know. Yeah, that's true. Well, I had tried to share a checkpoint, the battle point, and as a Haslab, which obviously is super goofy, but I was just messing around with that shit.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, well then
Uh,
uh give us a
I'll,
giant ass night landing.
yeah, right.
Like a dinghy the
Um,
size of the whale. Cut
oh
down
my
on the
god.
plastic.
Oh, are you kidding me? So there is one serious one that I do have, and it's really kind of my last one, to be honest with
All right.
you. And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this now, especially after resetting that damn thing. But I will open this up and I'll show you this one seriously, and we'll see what we can get done. There we go. All right. So I'll try to say share this one with you. Let me
Get her
know if it
done.
opens up. All right.
Spinning our wheels. Yeah, baby.
Okay. I had this in the
Yeah.
80s. If you loved military stuff, you were a fan of the SR-71.
Yeah.
And this and I had the Mamba too. Had the Mamba too. But the Raven, man, dude, I love this plane. I loved this plane. It's sleek. This is a bad boy. I would 100% love to have this as a Haslab. I ain't lying. Um,
Yeah.
it was one of my favorite planes as a kid, and along with the F-14, um, and an A4, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, this thing, dude, I would be all in on this day one. I wouldn't even wait. I've waited on them Haslabs, like, should I do it? Should I not? What am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to back it. I actually waited on the hiss until the last day. But I had just
Yeah.
started really collecting those figures. And but yes, I would love to have a Night Raven. I would be all
Yeah.
in right from the beginning, hands down. So that's my last one, really. Honestly, we've kind of run this out. Do you have any other ones that you want to
Uh,
see?
just one that I've already mentioned because I'd like to see how could they update that because a lot of people really want to see that.
Love it.
Yeah, you had it. I did not have the
Yep.
Mauler. I had the Mobat, and I loved it. I
Yes.
like Steelers. There's heavy metal with one of the most impossible to find accessories in GI Joe. His
And you
damn mic.
100%. And that he was one of my favorite figures. You know why? He had a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
He had
Yep.
a 5 o'clock shadow,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Now I could be wrong, but I'm
Yep.
pretty
There
sure
he is.
yeah, he's
Check him
got a
out.
5 o'clock shadow. And I, as a kid, I was like, this dude is awesome. And I used to use him. I love the gun. He used to be one of my favorite figures to use without the tank. Even though I had the tank, he was one of my favorite guys. I loved his outfit. I loved his belt buckle and everything, dude. I loved that guy. And the 5 o'clock shadow was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. This, I always liked him. I always loved this tank because, like I said, I had the Mobat, you had the Mauler, and this was a more updated tank, obviously, and it could also carry more figures. I would like to see something like this updated, and I think this is approaching Haslab scale and size. I think that I think this would be doable as a Haslab, but I don't know if they could put enough bells and whistles in it uh, to do it. They probably could, but we'd have to have the treads. But what else could they do with it to bring it up?
Yeah.
I just, they would have to update it a little bit into a more modern design, even more so than this, even though this is still a pretty modern-ish looking tank. Our tanks are a lot, they've come a long way. So that was Crow's comment there. He's asking us classified version of the plane they have in the movie, The Expendables. That's a better Joe movie than Snake Eyes was. Agree or no? That was it was like a wasn't a C-130. It wasn't that big. It wasn't a big, huge cargo plane. I'd love to have that plane in classified.
I'm trying to remember it, to be quite honest with you.
It was kind of like a cross between a C-130 and a bomber. Had the nose gun, the twin nose guns that had where you could pop up.
Oh,
in the front,
yeah. Okay, yes.
It had Chev Chelios there up front.
Yes,
firing the turret.
Yeah. Okay,
that would be badass.
Actually, that would be pretty bad.
I do need a heavy metal, or at least a custom heavy metal, at least by the time I get Saw Viper. Because I'll have everybody murdered once I get a heavy metal, and I'll have Doc. I'll have them all.
Right.
I got Quick Kick. I'll have all of them. Have all of them dudes that the Saw Viper just laid right through.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just remember stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah.
It's got it with you.
It's right back there somewhere. It's one of them that's in front of a bunch of the figures there.
Yeah, man.
So
we run through the Haslabs. And there's a couple other things we can go over. My question is, and I'll ask you this too. Do you want to keep this to just a tight 2 hours, or is everybody in the chat okay with going a little bit over that? That's my question for a couple more topics. And actually, it's up to you too, what you want to do.
I think we need to save the big one for the next show.
Okay.
I think we need to save our big one that we talked about earlier. We're going to discuss some war chest. I can too. That's the problem.
I can too. Actually, that's the thing. But our schedules are different. His and I schedules are definitely different.
Yeah. So we're going to discuss the Sunbow cartoon. So you guys, before we do our next show, which will be in 2 weeks, have some episodes you like in mind. We're going to kind of go over some of our favorites and talk about that and how the cartoon played an important part in our thoughts and our G.I. Joe world. There's some people that did not like the Joe cartoon. They read the comic, and that's fine. Yeah. But the comic, the cartoon was as much of a big part of my Joe verse as a kid as the comic was.
Yeah.
he and I watched the cartoon together. You've seen we have our own little skits and excerpts from it that we still, to this day, before we really got back into this world, always would say to each other to make each other laugh. So we're gonna talk about the comics and or the cartoon, and we will touch on the comics a little bit. Might even do a separate show on that. But our one of our big topics on the next one is going to be the cartoon and our love for it, and highlighting some of our favorite episodes. And we talked earlier about some of them damn episodes are pretty wacky, so it's going to be pretty. It'll be
Yeah,
pretty funny.
I've picked out a couple of my just faves, and yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll dedicate a decent amount of time to that next time. I did love the comics. I did collect the comics, and I know you did too. And obviously, behind me on my screen is one that's very expensive comic. If you want to spend the money on it and get a good a good version of it or a
Yeah,
good copy. And I thought it'd be fun to pull this one out today
that's
and
an
throw it
awesome.
in
That
there.
is an awesome
Yeah,
background.
yeah, I thought I'd pull that one as a background just for fun. I've got another one that I really enjoyed too. I did want to bring up real quick since it's something that did, come out today, and I've got my page open, so I'll just share it here because we got a few minutes. I mean,
Yeah, we got a couple quick
we're
things to go through, but
yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep you for forever, but at the same time, yeah, that one actually I believe is the reprint. But I just took a screenshot. I have all these comics in digital. He has them too. I've got them on a hard drive. Uh, I don't know if this is the his lab in the hazy per se,
yeah, I don't know how that showed back up. Get the hell out of there.
but so this game has a demo out on Steam. It's the Wrath of Cobra. This demo came out. If you guys play video games, it's on Steam right now. You can download the demo. I have downloaded it, although I did not get a chance to play it because, unfortunately, my son shares the same Steam account as I do, even though he's 16 now, and I started it when he was probably about 8 or 9. But now
I
he has
told him to
all.
change the password and kick him
Yeah,
off temporarily.
but he has all of his save stuff. He has all of his save stuff on my Steam account. So when I was going to jump on and play this before the show, he was playing Fallout 4. So I couldn't exactly start it up. But it does look super cool. Um, you know, it's a beat 'em up, right? It's a beat 'em up. I think anybody that's not a huge um, video game player could get into a game like this. It's just mashing some buttons, kind of
Button
like the
masher,
old
yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know.
Yeah, looks to
Um,
me like I said to you, looks like a combination of Marvel vs. Capcom and like Contra or Akari Warriors or something like that.
uh, yes. It
Double
is
Dragon.
Double Dragon. That's what I said earlier. Double Dragon. Obviously, you're going to be using weapons and stuff like that. A few of the little screenshots here. You got Roadblock, and then I just showed the one with Snake Eyes and Timber. That was fun. Yeah, Woody, it does look like the old Double Dragon, and I think that's we obviously saw that Operation Blackout. Was that the last one?
Yeah, man, it,
Yeah,
it could have been so good, but
it
man, the
could have been.
controls ruined it.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that game, for what it was, if anybody played it, you found out it didn't take you long to figure out that it wasn't something that a lot of people were going to really want to play. But an old throwback like this, it's kind of a callback to those old 16-bit games, the Double Dragons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type. So this is on Steam right now, just to let everybody know. If, like I said, play video games, you have a Steam account, you can download this demo for free. It lets you play 2 different levels. There's a mountain level, and then there's like a Cobra, another, I can't remember what exactly it is, but nonetheless, they're going to be adding more characters. They're going to be adding more modes and all that. So as the game goes on, hopefully they'll add some more stuff to it, and so might give some long-term fun to it. It says all kinds of vehicles, by the way. If you go on Steam and you scroll down and you just read about the game, it tells you like, here's, Roadblock going ham on some troopers, some jetpacks.
They just slap you on a bun and serve
you
for
for lunch. But it doesn't require a super duper computer. It doesn't need that at all. So I think if you have a computer from the last probably 10 years, I'd say this game probably can be played on your computer. So that's fun though, man, because I think for guys like us, maybe guys that like to play some video games or just like to dabble around, it's fun to get some games of stuff we love like this, and especially when they pay homage to the old uniforms and the look of it, and all that.
It looks like the cartoon. I mean, that's what I like.
They have the guns even. I mean, some of the guns and stuff you use.
All the way retro.
Yeah, so that's fun. It's supposed to come out fully in 2024. It doesn't have a release date. I don't know, whatever.
I heard late summer somewhere, but I don't have the source. It's something I read somewhere was they were shooting for like late July, August on it, but I haven't looked it up. I was actually going to ask you if it did give the final release date on there.
It does not. It actually does not on Steam. Akari Warriors, dude. Hey, listen.
Yeah,
you want to talk about
shit,
man? Listen, we could all go down that list. We could probably spend an hour naming off Nintendo games that we all played. Man, Commando, Akari Warriors. I spent a bunch.
I forgot
of time
about
on
Commando.
Them.
I love that game.
I mean, there's just there's so many. We all could probably spend a good amount of time doing that, and I think that'd be a lot of fun at some point in time. But next week, definitely gonna look forward to doing the cartoon. I want everybody to bring their favorite episodes. We can pull them up and kind of read a little bit of a synopsis, so to speak, on some of them, or some little screenshots here and there. That don't take nothing to do, but that would be fun to talk about.
That will be May 1st. It'll be 2 weeks.
May 1st. So that every other week thing, it sucks. I have to work every other Wednesday night, so that's kind of counts me out. I'd love to do it every week, but sometimes it's good to have a couple weeks to get some new news and kind of get some new things to talk about.
Well, it gives me a little bit of chance on that off Wednesday to hang out with the backyard battlefield.
Yeah, well, that's true too, actually.
What did you do, Richard? Nope. No sound. Damn it, man. Still no sound. Here, game. Yeah, not as much as I did Dreadnought. I was, before I got back into classifieds busy or heavy, I was hopelessly addicted to Call of Duty. And luckily, Modern Warfare 2 was so shitty, it broke me of that about the time that I started playing or doing classifieds. So, no, I don't, not as much. I still love my games. Got a PS5 that's mostly a YouTube player. Still not hearing you, Pop. May a sound bill. So let's see. What did I see? Saw something. Well, where'd it go? Damn it! I'm trying to highlight something and keeps running off. Hell yeah, we can talk about it on here, Krusty. We just talked about it. Let's make sure we have a free time so we can hang out with the BB crew. Still not hearing you. Thumbs down, Charlie Murphy. All right. So he is having some issues there. I think it looked like he bumped his cord there for his XMLR laser cannon. Pop's been playing Helldivers. Yeah, killed his mic. So I'm going to go ahead and sure he is probably rebooting again. So did anybody, we're talking about games for a minute. Did anybody play 4 Thumbs Down, Charlie Murphy? Dreadnought. What's up, Dreadnought? I've been highlighting you, but I didn't holler at you when you come in. Glad you made it. Yeah, StreamYard's doing this, and again, it was giving them a lot of trouble. So did anybody play that Operation Blackout game, that Joe game, any of the gamers that are in here? I bought it. I didn't play it when it come out. I bought it last year and thought the animation looked great, but the controls killed it for me, man. If they could have put some Call of Duty style controls with that game, it would have been something. They had the animation there. It looked great. Looked like playing the cartoon. Yeah. No, it wasn't really turn based. It was you played different characters in different levels. It was a huge disappointment. It could have been so much better. We're back. No, still 4 Thumbs down. So yeah, Blackout could have been good, but if you can get it really cheap, Crow. If you can pick it up cheap, it's worth giving a shot, but don't put a lot of money in it. I bought it on sale on the PlayStation Store. They had a sale on it, and I bought it. Yeah, it was all right. That it wasn't great. It just really it really, the controls shot that game in the foot. It could have been good, but if you can get it really cheap. Last good game was on Nintendo. I had that Nintendo one. I wonder if he can connect earbuds and we'll get some sound back. I haven't watched X-Men 97. I don't have Disney Plus. Disney Plus was no longer something that I was willing to pay for. So I don't know. I'd like to watch X-Men 97. Oh,
You got me.
heard you. There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Maybe. Yeah, I've heard good things about X-Men 97. I just wasn't ever a huge X-Men fan. Mm-mm. Yeah, use sign language. At the Panamon. Yeah, I don't have anybody that I can I don't think I can go hang out with to watch it. I just heard him for just a second. His cable is X. Oh, wait, there you are. Heard you grunt. His cable has a short in it. His XLR or whatever cable, he uses that. I just use a USB on mine, but it's got a short in it. And I think he's trying to get that short straightened out. I need to get somebody's. I need to get
check one.
Oh,
Check one.
There you go. There you are.
You give me it all?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Mm-mm-mm.
Can you not hear me? We can hear you. Always having some kind of. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so somehow the power cord, my USB, kind of popped for a second. And so you end up having to go through all of your settings, and it's like it needs to restart, detect the microphone. So like I'm literally having to go through all my fucking settings each time it did it, and I'm like, God dang it, man.
That's
Ain't
the
that a
man.
bitch?
That's the worst. That's the
Yeah,
worst.
and there's nothing you can do about it. If it comes unplugged, you'd think, "Oh, I'll
Yeah.
just plug it back in," but it's like, "Nope, I've gotta go back, change every setting, change them all, go to Chrome, change it to that, this, microphone, headphones, the whole 9 yards." So,
Yeah.
anyway, damn it, what were you talking about?
I don't even remember. We were talking about X-Men 97 and we were
Oh,
talking
shit.
about the G.I. Joe games. Just kind of talking about past stuff. A lot of people are watching X-Men, which I haven't seen yet. So
Yeah, I wanna see it too. I definitely wanna see it. I know you canceled, Disney Plus, a while back.
yeah,
I actually still have it, and yet I don't even really use it at all,
that's
but
how I was.
it's just on an auto charge, which is stupid of me, and I probably need to
Yeah.
cancel it because there are other ways to watch the shows if you're creative.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I was like, I would realize that. I'm like, well, I don't want to quite cancel it because every now and then they come out with a series or something, and they
Sure.
do have some good movies on there. All the Marvel stuff. And I don't know how many times I watched Infinity War and Endgame. I watched them a bunch because
Great
I thought
movies.
they were so good.
Great movies.
The last of the good Marvel movies, but that's a topic for another time. um, so I was like, shit, I gotta cancel this. I didn't even see What's F. Thanks for stopping
See,
by, man.
buddy. Thank
He
you.
said, quit being a bitch. Oh, damn.
We've all been there.
Oh yeah. Don't yeah, you better head on out then.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but I didn't even see
Thank
season 3 of the Mandalorian. And I
well,
want to
don't
watch season 2 of Boba Fett for some reason. I want to watch it. I
season
don't know.
2?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
no,
doing it.
no, there'll be
They're
no
not
season
doing it?
2. Oh, no, 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 no.
I thought I read that they were getting ready to do it.
Oh, no, 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 no. No,
Oh,
I cannot imagine they're gonna do season 2. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they canceled all that. They just came out a few weeks ago with a thing, said
no.
they were not gonna do this, and this, and
Mm,
then, honestly, Mandalorian season 3, uh, I would not devote those hours that you ain't never gonna get back to something that was not very good.
it's
Um,
that whole I haven't seen it. Like I've seen part of it, but I hadn't seen the rest of it. So it's part of me. It's compelling me to watch it at some point, but I'm not getting in any hurry about it. So
yeah, no, man. I just I'm telling you, it's not good. It's
I was
extremely
waiting on you to say something, Matthew.
Thank you. See, Matthew knows. He knows.
Crimson
And
Cobra Commander agrees too.
yeah, no, it was like I said, nonsensical. It had some of the dumbest plot lines. There's just you will find yourself each episode watching and going like, okay, this makes no sense. This is extremely stupid.
Yeah,
And ultimately, they are coming out with a movie, right? So they're
yeah,
but I don't think you need to see season 3 to understand what's going on in the movie. Um, the stuff that happens in season 3 is really kind of dumb. And one of the major plot arcs in it, I could probably tell you about in a couple minutes, and you really don't need to watch it. Like for real. It's just
nah.
not.
You,
It's
you,
not worth it.
you, you can tell me about it offline.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
going to devote. We're not turning it into Star Wars night.
No, no,
So
no, 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 no.
we still got a few people watching. So I don't want to.
Yeah, but
Well,
no, no.
let's get ready to go ahead and wrap up though. So if you guys watched the last episode, that's kind of how we're gonna try and wrap these up. So we're gonna vent for a minute
Yeah.
and talk about know what really ramps my vamp. Something that kind of pisses us off just a little bit.
Um, do you wanna go first? You want me to go
I can
first?
go
What do you wanna do?
first.
Yeah,
I
you
can
go
go
first
first.
this time.
Mine is not mine's not quite as raving as it was last time, but still something that pisses me the fuck off is healthcare. Anybody got health issues? Anybody got it? Go to the doctor and get medicine for anything? The health care industry in this country is such a scam. And I'm waiting on Matthew to say something because Matthew's in the healthcare field, but he's in a specialized field. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
whole overall arcing spectrum of it, not any specific parts or anything. Um, all of it as a sphere is a broken scam joke. And I'm bringing this up because I go and I get, no, it doesn't grind my gears. It ramps my vamp. Somebody already has grind my gears. It ramps my vamp.
I love it.
So I go to doctor just for checkups. I have medicines that I take, and you got to go and you got to get your refill. You got to go pay them their money and get you a refill on your damn medicine so your blood pressure don't go through the roof, or you don't have a psychotic break, or you can deal with anxiety. So I got to go to the doctor once in a while and go get that shit. Well, I set my appointment. I was there in December and set an appointment for when was that appointment? That appointment was for March 14th or something like that. Like getting ready for it. This was going to be a big one. I got to have a physical. They're going to physical
Oh,
my ass.
yeah.
Yeah, they're going to put something in me, and I'm going to feel. I'm about to take some of that anxiety stuff before I go. I guess I don't know. I don't know how they do it anymore. But so getting ready for the appointment. It's a fasting appointment. They're going to do blood work. They're going to do all this shit. And I'm getting ready for it. They call me about 4 days before the appointment. They're like, oh, we got to move your appointment because doctor is going on spring break. He's taking his kids on spring break. Like, he didn't know what fucking spring break was when I was here in December. Like, did they not give you a school schedule? I know he's got the money. He wasn't saving up.
We're talking about
So,
appointments that have been on the books, right?
yeah, for 3
Yeah.
months.
Right.
3 months. And like, I know, like, he could have planned it. He wasn't saving up for it. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I was like, look, what about my medicines? He gonna refill my medicine? Because I'm gonna have at least one refill on this stuff for I can probably get back. Oh yeah, if you got an appointment, we'll you got an appointment scheduled, no problem. And you can yeah, right. Yeah, I bet. And so no problem. You got an appointment scheduled. We'll refill your medicine. All right, cool. Let's see. Do you prefer morning? So like this appointment was? I said, yes, I want a morning appointment because I'm not going in there all sweaty and shit after working, especially if they're giving me a physical. They'll probably write me a prescription for some stank powder. So they're like, okay, the next morning appointment he has is May the 14th or 16th. It's like 6 damn weeks waiting to get another appointment. I said, did you say May? She said, yeah, before he has a morning appointment. I said, we can get you in. We can get you in at the end of April if you want an afternoon appointment. Like, lady, what the fuck? Okay, May, whatever. I want a morning appointment. So that's scheduled. They're going to refill whatever I need. I get a letter from them about 2 weeks ago that my doctor is leaving the practice. We talk about practice.
I got that letter a couple months ago too. But no,
doctor,
go ahead.
Doctor and his nurse practitioner.
Oh,
who is also awesome. I found this doctor because the last doctor I had quit taking my insurance. So I had to find a new doctor, and I found this dude. He's close. I like him even more than the other doctor because he actually listens to me. I get a letter. Him and his nurse practitioner are leaving this practice that is 10 minutes from my house, going to a place that's still reasonably close, but it's about 25 or 30 minutes away. And this is some kind of shit that I hear some healthcare is going to, where you have to pay to go there.
Yes, that's
And insurance,
yes,
concierge,
yes,
insurance does not cover this.
yes.
So you telling me I've got to pay to go in there and then pay out of pocket for a copay? And then my insurance is not going to pay shit, as I found out last time I went, because they changed their insurance at work. And I got to pay out of pocket. I got to pay a copay. They're going to send me a bill after the insurance. And all of this shit is just for maintenance stuff. Like, this is some bullshit. And I've heard that a lot of people, a lot of practices are going to this. And that is another reason why I say the whole thing is a big ass scam, because from what I heard, that this rate you pay at this place is based off of age, right? And your I don't know if your medical history, but your age is one of the deciding factors. And I know somebody that has already called the place, and it is $250 a fucking month just to be able to go to this place, to pay more money so I can get stuff that like helps me go outside.
Well, that's fascinating, because they do it by the month, because most concierge is a one-time payment every year. It might be 1,500, it might be 2,000, it might be, but I know my old doctor did the same thing, and I got a letter that said, you know, if you'd like to come along, he's going to see fewer patients, but it gives you more specialized care. And it was $2,000 a year up front. And so, yes, it's, that's exactly right, Matthew. It is absolutely a joke. I got a letter from my doctor not a couple months ago, and my mom actually goes to the same doctor, and I'm the one who informed her, because when I went to my physical this year, he said, well, I got some good news and some bad news. You know, the bad news is, the good news is I'm taking a chief medical officer position. And I said, well, that's fantastic. He said, the bad news is I'm going to have to leave all my patients behind. And I was like, well, that's awesome. So he said, I'm going to turn you over to one of my partners here at the hospital, the Frist Clinic here in Nashville. And I said, oh, that's great. He said, you'll be getting a letter soon. Well, I got the letter, and it's like, oh, okay. So they're going to turn me over to a new doctor. I called, and the nurse said, well, evidently his partner is leaving also.
Awesome.
And so you're not going to have a doctor. We're going to try to set you up with somebody. And it was like, all right. They ultimately actually did find someone. Now, mind you, for me, okay, whatever, I'll find somebody. My mother, however, you know, she's 75 years old. Finding another doctor that you trust, someone that you feel comfortable with, is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so when you find somebody that you do like, you know, that's you know, so to get that news, you know, it was a bitch. But I feel you, man. I feel you. Healthcare is a motherfucker. It ain't gonna change anytime soon. It is specialized care. You're seeing it more and more now. Doctors are leaving, doing concierge treatment, and then all of a sudden you've got hundreds of patients, or how many ever, that are left without treatment, and all of a sudden they've got to go find a doctor. And you'll find, as I found out when I started calling around, there's a lot of doctors that aren't taking patients, and or they are concierge only.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well,
well, you know, trying to find a new doctor is not the easiest thing to do.
The one that I go to, it's part of a group. So there are other doctors there, and they can probably pawn me off on one of them, which is probably what I'm going to do if they will take some of those patients. If they don't, I don't know what I'm going to do, but that's my plan. Cause I ain't giving them no damn 250. They hang that shit up a month.
Yeah.
You know how much, you know how many G.I. Joes I can buy for $250? I can buy a damn well Haslab.
It's open those cheeks. It is it is tough, and I don't know what the solution is. Look, I don't. I have a pre-existing condition. So for me, from childhood, and maybe one day I'll talk about that on the show. But I have a pre-existing condition that was pretty serious. It's going to cost a lot of money one day, twice, and and so in that aspect, me trying to find coverage, was a very difficult thing to do, especially if I'm not getting it through my job. So I am getting it through my job. It still costs a lot of money every month just for me. It is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel you. Luckily that's a topic I think a lot of us can easily understand because we've all ended up having to deal with it in some shape, form, or fashion. And hopefully everybody's in a yeah. Well, that's a
Two of
terrible
them.
terrible thing to have right there.
Oh, that was good. So
All right.
that was my rant, and I think a lot of people can probably agree with me on this one.
Yeah.
So what's pissing you off this week?
All right. Well, I had a bit of a time trying to figure one out this week, although there's multiple things, but
I will
I thought,
never have a shortage of things that
well,
piss me off.
I won't say that. I guess it was more of what I was trying to think more GI Joe centric, right? Now, last week I had a couple, one that is, one that isn't, and I am always a fan of bringing something outside, just that everybody can relate to. That it's not just GI Joe. So I'm all about bringing something like that, like what you're talking about for sure. This one is GI Joe centric. It is something I've mentioned in the chat before in a couple other streams, but it's something that I have railed on and I'll keep railing on. Uh, I what ramps my vamp is I just don't like floating money on these damn pre-orders because the dates get moved around and all of a sudden you get an email and it's like, hey, it's shipping out, get ready. And yeah, okay, that's fine. They give you notice, get ready. But it's just this whole way this has been done this whole time is that, like, man, if I pre-order a toy and then chances are it's coming, right? You may not
Yeah.
know exactly when it's going to be get released, but when it's going to go on sale. They give you an idea, except for just recently,
Yeah,
yesterday
moving
or whatever,
target,
day
but a
before.
target.
Right, but a target. But nonetheless, usually they'll give you an idea. So when I buy something, I want to pay for it right then and there. And I want it to be a done deal. And
Yep.
so when you put some stuff up, now I know, and don't get me wrong, because I have benefited from this as well. I can go and order $198 worth of whatever, right? This last big one we had, you had the 50th anniversary, too, you had some other figures. You're talking about like $184, or whatever it was. That's a big pre-order, man. And it is nice to be able to not have to pay all that at one time. But um I don't like keeping up with, oh yeah, that's right. Maybe coming up soon in a few days I'll get a notice about that $75 that's supposed to just be taken
Yeah.
out of my account one day.
Yep.
I just like it. I'm gonna buy it. I want it then and there. You make the product, get it to me, it's paid for. I just don't like this floating shit around sometimes for months, man. Sometimes,
Yeah.
usually 4 months, of floating money, and we all, man, look, we all got shit going on, man. And, if they gave us an either or, like Same Time Toys, is that if they gave us an either or, um,
Yeah.
then you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can, you
The
can. If you can't,
option.
you
Yeah.
can't. The option, right? Whatever. But and then what Crow said there for a second about the real crime, if you're a regular collector who pays for membership advantage like Hasbro, and the Edge is supposed to give is worthless suddenly, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's problems there too. So there's just a lot of issues. And for me, it's like they've been doing this long enough. This shit should be drilled down. It should be like clockwork. We should know. I know there's production issues that happen. I know sometimes a factory, whatever, shipping, the products, the plastic, it don't get there, whatever it is. But ultimately at the same time, and I get that because I know that I think Crimson, you said that the other day in a stream as well when I might have mentioned that possibly. I thought maybe you had commented that. But I think the option, because man, most people don't like floating up to $200, $400,
Yeah,
$600.
it's a lot of
Floating it
money.
for months, man. Like, and then not knowing when that's going to come out of your account. And then all of a sudden, some on your car breaks down and you got to go spend $800 on your AC, or you got to spend $1,200 on a new set of CV joint, whatever it is. And all of a sudden now you get the email from Pulse. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, $184 is got,
Yeah.
$75. And so I'm just more of a fan of let me pay for it. And I know I've got it. It's a done deal, and I can expect it when you send it to me. I would rather do it that way, but that's just me personally. But I have benefited from the other way. So, I get it. But yeah, an option would be good. So that's just something I
Yeah.
will continue to probably fight on that hill. Just because I just don't like money just being out there floating around. I like to know what I got and when I got it and all that.
And I've talked about, like I do want to try and get the figures early as I can. I don't think there's many that I'm gonna go out on a limb and order from another country again.
Yeah.
But I do what a lot of people I see do is I order them on Pulse and I order them on Amazon, because flip
Yes.
a coin on which one is going to ship first. It was there for a while. It was always Amazon. So if you've got them ordered in two places and you're not keeping up with it, or they, start playing some funny shit with moving the dates around, you might wind up within a couple days of each other getting charged for double.
Well, and you're absolutely right, but also something on top of that is that, like, then let's say, okay, they're saying it's going to ship out on May 31st, and you go, okay, I'm going to budget my money out, right? I'm going to budget it out.
Yeah.
I know this is coming. And let's say you had another wave you ordered and it's supposed to ship out on June 27th. Okay. And then all of a sudden you get that shit, and all of a sudden they're shipping it within a week of each other, and you haven't budgeted that money. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden they just start charging your ass. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh crap. And so I think being able to buy it and pay for it up front and not have to worry about the FOMO part of it. Like, oh crap, it's going to sell out. That's why everybody pre-orders this stuff, right? We all do it because we don't want nobody else.
Yeah.
We don't want to run out. So we all do it. We all pre-order it. We all float that money because we don't want them to run out. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and you don't know that. So for me, it's like, just let me buy it. I know I got it. It's a done deal, and I can plan on that.
Show me how, Jay.
Man,
show me how.
Yeah,
show me the way.
Teach me your magic, man.
Yeah, teach me your ways.
Your magic.
Your magical ways. So
that's right.
Yeah, I agree with all that. There should be an option.
At least an option, man.
They hit you with some stuff. So before we get to our last quick topic of the night, I was gonna ask, is there any Deadpool fans in here? I know it has absolutely nothing to do with G.I. Joe, but I got something sitting in front of me and I think you might want it if you're a Deadpool fan. I'm not. I don't like Deadpool. Y'all die on that hill, I suppose. The movie was pretty funny, but one of these days I'm going to finish watching 2 and I might even watch 3. Yes, I know 4 is coming out. So, all right, seems like the consensus is everybody likes Deadpool. Most people are surprised when I tell them I don't like Deadpool, because he's like, if I was some kind of superhero, I'd probably be like Deadpool myself. So Deadpool likes tacos, right? That's kind of his thing. Isn't he like a big taco fan?
Chimichangas.
Is it chimichangas?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking it was tacos. All right. No, he just got it right out there. All right. Well, I picked something up just the other day, and I haven't opened it yet, so I'll show it to you in the package. This is another one of those sets the grill that we all got last year. I got you one pop blender that we
Yeah.
were using for the cookouts for the pictures.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
that company puts out all kind of cool little sets, and most of it is reasonably in scale, and some of it is a little big. But I found this. This is the Teeny Tinies guac and roll set.
Oh shit.
It's the same. It's the same company that
Same
made the
company.
grill and
Yeah.
all the little stuff. So it comes. That's the stuff it comes with. It comes with tacos. It comes with the taco tray, street corn. It's got all this.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
I was like, man, Deadpool, doesn't the Deadpool like tacos? So it's chimichangas. So, but this is a cool little set that I picked up that you can use for pictures and stuff. Legend series says I've got that one. I have all of them. Then you probably got that one. You probably got this one too. The grilling and chilling.
That's cool.
And it's got all kind of little stuff in it. I wanted it because it's got soft serve ice cream in it.
Yeah.
And that will fit with the figures. The drink cups are a little big. That's all the
Um,
stuff that one comes with.
Krusty
These
asks
are
where you found them at.
these I was gonna say that these are at Five Below. If you've got those up there, I don't know if you've got them, Krusty. If you're not and you're interested in them, I can probably get them to you. But that's the only place I've seen them is Five Below. I don't know if that's the only place that carries them, but they've got a bunch of them. I bought the pastry shop one. I did a video on the pastry shop one that I think about 5 of you guys watched, so I appreciate that. But I wanted that one because it comes with donuts for the dreadnoughts. So
Oh
actually,
yeah.
my thumbnail is the dreadnoughts holding donuts. So those are just cool little accessories for stuff to pose your Joes with and do pictures. Like I said, some of it is slightly out of scale, but a lot of it is enough that it'll work. Like they got takeout boxes and all kind of stuff. They've still got the one I got these at. They've still got a couple of the grill sets, and for $5, I mean, even if you just use a couple little things out of it, they're perfect.
I mean, for pictures, especially, man, for taking pictures and doing that, especially, like I know they come in really handy with props like that, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
Turkish says my Five Below sucks.
yeah.
Well, I keep going in it trying to find those Masterverse figures for $5 that everybody's been talking about, because
Rolling dice.
I can pick up some Masterverse figures for $5,
Yeah.
and I keep going in there and I can't ever find those, but I found these, and it's like, yeah, I need to pick them up too for the soft serve ice cream.
Yeah,
So
man.
so it's going to bring us to our last topic that we closed the show with after our rants. And of course, I wanted to break in that teeny tiny set. But before I do this, I think everybody is just about in here, but there's some other good channels, some guys that have come out with some channels that are putting some good content out, and they're all pretty much in this little core circle and group that we talked about. And I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget people. So we got, of course, Woody Triple Deuce, the figure addicts, been putting out some stuff. So
Yeah, man.
check Woody out and learn a little bit about the Blurman. Same Time Toys is in here. Crimson Cobra Commander is in here. And of course, Krusty Old Crow and Aaron the Toy Enhancer. So if you guys aren't watching those, and I'm pretty sure everybody in here is, but anybody on the replay, if you watch this, go check out all of those guys. They got some really good content, and they're getting started. Let's help those guys out and spread the word and get some subscribers.
Hell yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there because I meant to do it last time and I completely forgot it. And I think we've got 2 more channels that have come in since then. So just want to make sure I did that and talk about our people there.
Dude,
So
I'm all about it. Before you say that though, I'm all about it. I want to give some props and give people and get some shout outs for people and let them, mention if they have a channel You know, I don't want somebody just going on and on and on. But if somebody has a channel, somebody, you know, wants to mention, we want to direct people towards people making content because it helps everybody, you know, and so I enjoy it. So yeah, 100%, dude. Like, you know, I always want to promote other people's channels and get people watching, and sometimes you get ideas from other people's content too. It gives you
Yeah.
ideas for your stuff, you know. So it's all good. And so yeah, I'm just a big proponent of that. I do like that, and like propping up other channels and shouting out people and all that. So I'm glad you did that. I really am. I'll
Yeah,
let
you got to
you
try and remember. Got to try and remember to do that.
yeah.
We ended the last one. I'm like, damn, I forgot. I meant to mention some channels, and of course, me and Toy Enhancer and Krusty Old Crow have our trio. We're Backyard Battlefield, and we do a floating stream that we still haven't nailed down the time yet. So we'll announce it though. It'll be, or maybe we won't, but you're watching those anyway. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that. We're trying to get something permanent, semi-permanent as well. So the last thing we're going to do is close the show with something. Bring it back down a little bit. We do memories of GI Joe past, and that's just us talking about a good memory in the past of GI Joe. Woody and them damn fart noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, not what that looks like. Punk is right. So, so Uh, so all right, man. Same time, Toy Shane. Thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. I'm good. Thanks for stopping by. We're about done. We're gonna talk a
Yeah.
little bit here at the end. You're not
Yeah.
gonna miss much. You can catch the
No.
last few minutes on a replay if you want.
Yeah.
So, do you have you got a good Joe memory in mind?
Um, man, I had a couple. I actually had I kind of had more of a conglomerate of memories, and it was and I had sent you some photos. I have you know, I've dug through a bunch of photos, and I've tried. I know there's a bunch of them of birthday cakes and toys and stuff like that, and I still have many more photos to dig through. Um, but I know that, you know, I kind of mentioned it earlier, and I was thinking about this, and I was telling somebody at work. Um, but I mentioned this earlier is you know, growing up and coming out to your house um, was different than being at my house because it was more like the country. And I did not, you know, having a creek, right? Like having some water, having like, you know, an area that you could go stand in. Well, you know, we stand in the creek and it's like
Oh
waist
yeah.
high for us back then, you know, thigh high, waist high. And and just I was telling somebody at work the other day about getting out there with like our GI Joes and just playing in the creek, having the whale, you know, anything that would float out there we would use. Um, and I just remember, you know, being out there with those toys. And of course, you know, I can picture everything exactly where the bridge was. We're right on the left side of it. If you're looking towards the bridge, right on
Yep.
the
It was
left
the deep
side,
spot.
on the deep spot, and just and having them guys out there, you know, just playing around, and how, you know, it was always a worry that we were going to lose somebody out there. You
Yeah.
know, it's like you playing with your toys, and it's like you just always worried you're going to lose somebody. But I was explaining to somebody the other day, you know, about Nashville now and Nashville then, and just differences and things, and we got to
Oh yeah.
talking about, you know, going out to Nolensville and just enjoying playing out there. I know it's not a I know it's not a memory that is specific, and I do have a couple of them, but I'm gonna save a couple because I want to try to find some pictures of it. But I did want to show two pictures real quick. That's my mom, and that's me and you. Uh, and you can see what you were interested in.
Yeah, and still hear the sound of that toy
Uh-huh.
M16.
I was interested in that one too. we were both interested in guns, that's for sure.
I like your mom's got the shirt on that
Oh,
identifies herself.
oh yeah. She wore that when I was in Little League baseball. She wore that to the ball field, and of course, you can see by the leg braces there was no more baseball by then. But she still had the shirt. And so I had that one, and then there's one other one I just wanted to show real quick that I think is funny. There are others with some toys in them, and I will, show those at here we go. Here's all right. I got one more, me and my sister. Boom, real quick. That's a Millennium Falcon, original Millennium Falcon. I got my Popeye pajamas on. My sister's helping put the stickers on, which we mentioned last stream. And that's my sister putting on the stickers on the Millennium Falcon. This is probably in 1980, 81, I guess, maybe at Christmas of 80.
Probably.
Christmas of 1980, I would say. So there's an original Millennium Falcon right there. And then I'll show one more of just me and you, which is just fun. And then I'm going to turn it over to you because I know we got to get this bad boy on the road. All right, here we go. This is me and you. I think this is around when the time the movie Breaking was out in movie theaters. So Breaking. That's me and you probably doing our breaking moves at Christmas time. Look at them two little fellers right there, huh?
We was wearing it out, son. Right. It was Ozone and Turbo.
I know. All right. Well, I'm gonna do a Dave Chappelle and hit the wrap it up thing on myself. If I had music to play, I'd play myself off a stage. All right. Anyway, so that's mine. I'll gather up a couple more if I can find some more pictures, especially with some G.I. Joe. But I'll turn it over to you so we can fire out of here, buddy.
Yeah,
yes, Turbo was the
magic.
jam.
And he had magic too with that damn broom.
Ozone and Turbo.
Yep. And Special K. Special K, who later turned into a date rape drug.
Oh, no. And on that note.
So mine is, I don't have any pictures. One day I'm going to figure out how to show pictures on here. I've just now learned how to share tabs, so bear with me. Mine is, I was going to pick a different one, but since we were doing Haslabs and I knew that the whale was going to come up, this was a memory that we talked about a little bit earlier, and he just kind of talked about it again, was taking that whale down to that spot in the creek behind my house. And it's just like he said, we had our bridge that had a slab that was poured, and it kind of almost dammed it a little bit, but it still ran over the slab under the bridge. So there was a pool of water there that was not very fast moving. And we would get in that pool of water, and I mean, we could sit down and it would come up to like our neck. And we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I'm like, we're in a swampy ass hot tub. And we take Joe's down there, and like I said, take the hovercraft down there. And I think that was where we figured out that it actually did float. I don't even think I messed with the bathtub. I think it went to the creek. And of course, my mom was like, don't take that down there. And like, look, I'm going to take all the little stuff off. We're going to be on the left side. It's not even going to float under the bridge. If it gets away from me, the water ain't moving that fast. So she let us take it down there, and we would take that down there. And something else that some of you guys probably had. Do y'all remember the Little People houseboat?
Yes.
Houseboat.
I was gonna mention it a few minutes ago. I promise you, I was gonna bring it up, and I was like, nah.
it was a little small for Joe's, but it worked. It had that deck on the back of it, and it floated. Yes. None of the other shit actually floated. The hydrofoil sure wasn't gonna float, but the whale and that Little People boat floated. So we would get in there with the whale, and we get the Little People boat, and we never took a whole bunch of figures down there. We'd pick like 4 or 5 because we were scared of losing them. A lot of times we would leave their guns and stuff, backpacks up at the house, because we didn't want to take no chances. And so we go down there and we take Joe's, and like Cobra hijacked the little people boat, and the Joes were chasing it in the whale, and we'd be out there pushing it around and messing around with it. So that was just a good time that we had outside playing with the Joes, because a lot of people didn't take them outside. I had friends that never took stuff outside. I didn't take a lot of other toys out there, but Joes were kind of meant to be played with outside. The only thing inside in a G.I. Joe commercial was the damn flag, and that's because the kids couldn't haul it out the door. So you have them like pack mules with the damn reins on them, trying to drag it out the door like they're moving stones into the Great Pyramid of Giza. And so that was the only thing you ever saw that wasn't outside, was really the flag. So that was just a cool, that we talked about the Haslab. I knew the whale was going to come up, and he mentioned we took that stuff out there and we got in that creek, man. And that shit stunk when we brought it back in too, because that moss and that creek mud had to wash it off. But it was fun. That contributed to quite a few rusty screws and rivets.
For sure. Rusty screws and some loose knees, some loose legs.
We didn't we might run them under some water or something when we brought them back in, but that was it. So
that damn little people
didn't float.
No, it definitely didn't, because we tried. And but yeah, that little people houseboat, I almost, man, and as I was sitting there telling that earlier, in my mind, I'm picturing that damn thing out there, and I wish I didn't mention it. That's so funny.
Eric, hold up, Eric. Nobody knew as a kid I had the flag. How did you have the flag and didn't tell nobody?
No. He said nobody I knew as a kid had the flag.
I read it wrong. Okay.
I did not know anybody else that had the flag either. I had one. That was a dream for, to me.
Yeah. What's up, Grievance? I knew I mentioned it somewhere else. On Punk Stream, maybe the last pit. I knew one dude that had the flag, and he didn't even really play with Joe's, but he had the flag. And to this day, he still has the flag.
Yeah.
And he just anytime I see the dude, he just taunts me with it.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and you're like, "How much for that thing?" Ha ha ha! It's like, no, you ain't getting that shit.
He does not even have interest in it, and he will not come up off of it at all. So
it's kind of
a little disappointing. Like if I that's really the only thing 3 3/4. If I run up on a flag that I could afford, even if it was janky, I would probably, I still want a flag, because I would do like what Shark Eyes does. Like he does reviews and stuff on his,
right?
Like it's a centerpiece.
Oh, well, no, you're absolutely right. Now, something like that, you totally could use like that, and that would be awesome. I agree 100%. However, and Crimson Cobra Commander, I can tell you, having the hydrofoil, it did not float barely at all. It just wasn't weighted properly. Like it wasn't, and obviously the hydrofoil, the actual two stands, that went underneath.
They weren't watertight.
They weren't watertight. I mean, you couldn't do anything with that. But even if you wanted to, it just, you really couldn't do the hydrofoil very well, for sure, like that. And what does Matthew say here? He said, I had a friend with the flag. He never let anybody touch his Joes. They were all perfectly posed in a display. I can see that at 8 years old. Some people, probably were like that. I mean,
I bet he's like a senator now,
right? I mean, man, we play with every one of them damn things and every one of them vehicles, and and
even the ones we didn't like. We played with them because they died.
I mean, and we wouldn't mash them together. Sometimes you see kids, you see them like smacking two things together. And, we didn't do stuff like that, but like, man, if you had it, you played with it, man. There wasn't no, center. There wasn't no pieces
Yeah.
you could stick on a shelf and be like, I'm never gonna touch this again. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
no.
that stuff, man, the stuff that you liked, like it had the most wear, like
Yeah.
it got played with. So
Yeah, man. So
well, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and
yeah.
wrap it up.
Yep.
We're at we've been at it for 2 hours and 50 minutes, and we originally planned this as 2 hours, so
Yeah.
we're gonna run over a little on these. We get to going. That's just the thing. I appreciate everybody for hanging in
Yeah,
and
man.
watching. Looks like we got 16 still hanging in there with us, so I certainly appreciate that, you guys, and I appreciate if you do smack that like button. I did remember to say it again, but yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming out for episode 2.
Yeah, man. That's we'll just keep it up, baby. More we talk, hopefully the more people will listen, and if they get tired of it, we'll figure it out real quick.
Yeah, yes,
But
sir. So
yeah,
we'll be
Crow.
back on May 1st. We'll do the
Yeah,
next.
May 1st, and Crow said he's going to go live for a while he paints. So if anybody wants to swing over to Crow's channel and watch him do some painting, man, sounds good, my friend. I'm gonna grab another bite to eat here myself, but I want to say I appreciate everybody hanging out for sure, and it's nice to have everybody chatting and participating and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's fun doing this, and hopefully I'll be able by the 3rd episode have all my technical difficulties eradicated.
Crimson Cobra Commander, we're gonna be doing a show on his birthday.
Sweet.
Have to write that down so we do not let that slip.
Yeah, man.
All
right, buddy. I'll let you take it out, my man.
Yep. So once again, everybody, thanks for coming out for 7's Wild here on 3-Star Draw. I am DownSouth 77, and that is Pop Blender. And we will see you guys again in 2 weeks on May the 1st. Peace.
See ya.